To finish off with, Channel 7 still, it's not just about the Melbourne teams, but unless they've got a Carlton or a Collingwood or an Essendon or a Richmond, even, what it's like, Berkey, with the Saints or the Bulldogs, or those types of clubs, they got to have, or even the D's, you've got to have two Melbourne clubs playing in those games to put it on TV because they're so scared that people won't tune in.
But what they're doing now, winning, playing good footy, that helps a bit.
That'll help. Yeah. Yep. It's welcome to country time here in Sir Doug Nicholls Round. It's the last game of these 2 weekends, which shines a light on the Indigenous contribution to the game of Australian football, and both teams are gathered on the broadcast wing.
A big thank you to Kiernan from Darug Country for joining us this evening on my father's traditional lands. Tonight is a very special night, as of all the games over First Nations round just been so wonderful and exciting. And so I'd like to begin by saying that meeting on Wurundjeri ground is my privilege and honour, being a part of my father's country. Sometimes when we think about where we come from and who we are, it's a moment in time when you're able to have that honour of being able to do things. Welcome to country is certainly one of those. To pay respect to those who have gone before us, and today those are with us, and of course our little ones that will be coming along for generations. I'd like to pay respects to my father, all ancestors, elders and communities across this great nation and neighbouring islands. I also do want to officially recognise all of our past players and of course today's players. And the thing is, let's not forget about our wonderful women that play AFLW, and especially to our Indigenous girls. I also want to acknowledge each and every one of you. We all have somewhere that we belong. We all have our own identity. So I welcome you to country. It's a wonderful occasion to celebrate Sir Doug Nicholls Round, or Uncle Doug, and tell you that these times remind you, of course, of our elders that have walked for us, that have worked for us, and how we walk together today. And certainly Sir Doug, as a wonderful gentleman, a beautiful man that loved his family, worked tirelessly with so many others to give us what we have today. And it's about coming together. The spirits of our ancestors continue to watch over us and forevermore. Our welcome to country is by what we're known as the Managum people. And I'll take a leaf on your behalf. I hope that you accept this. It means that you are welcome to everything from the tops of the trees to the roots of the earth. It also means you join with us to honour all of those who have walked this country for thousands and thousands of years. Today is a great match between the mighty St Kilda team, and I'm wearing this scarf in honour of my brother, So for 25 years this year, when he first was here and we did the first welcome to country. The Gold Coast Suns, great to have you here. I love all of our boys, but I love all the players, so good luck to both teams. Our language is the Woi Wurrung. Women Jakar, Wurundjeri Balak, Yemen, good week. You are most welcome to the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri Wurrung people. Enjoy.
And the teams break. The last of the games in Sir Doug Nicholls' round, and Auntie Joy getting a hug from Bradley Hill as well. A nice way to finish things up here as the stadium lights go up. And we are ready for action here. It's Yoroke, the Saints taking on Gold Coast. And that form line, again, if you're just not aware, the Saints have lost their last two. Beat the Dockers here back in round 8, but had losses to the Lions and the Bulldogs before that. So 4 wins, 6 losses, but the majority of those losses have come recently for the Saints. And the Suns, 7 wins, 2 losses, back-to-back wins in their northern fortress of Darwin off the back of a loss to the Lions in Q-Clash. 7-2, the Suns, 4-6, the Saints. Nathan Burke and Daniel Harford, your thoughts ahead of this one?
Well, the Saints got to bring the heat. If they don't slow down the Suns' ball movement, restrict the passage into Ben King, they're going to be in for a long day. They're not good enough, skillful-wise, to go head-to-head with the Suns in that area. So they've got to bring that intense, really driving defensive part of the game where they attack the footy, they attack the bloke with the footy, turn the ball over in really good spots and get the ball inside 50, because getting the ball from one end of the ground to the other has been an issue for them. So I'm looking for an intense Saints today. I'm looking for how Gold Coast can actually handle that, because as you mentioned, Q, at the start, when they're allowed to play in their own terms, they're a very, very good team. When you take away the way that they want to play, can they adjust? That's sort of the growth of the Gold Coast Suns half.
Yeah, well, I've really watched the Gold Coast Suns closely this season, wanted to see what they were going to deliver, and I haven't been disappointed. They're a really dynamic footy team. They're really direct. There's not much mucking around with their ball movement. They defend hard. They've got some real good contest boosts around the ball, and they're getting reward for their effort. The system they're believing in more and more. We talked about that with Mark Evans before, and they're getting the results in favour on the back of that. Secura are out without one of their key players today, and for a little while, Jack McRae, who's averaged 28 disposals a game, who's averaged 15 contested possessions and 8.5 clearances. Somebody's got to fill that void. Zach Jones going to get another look through the middle of the ground for the Saints, and hopefully he's one of those guys to get the job done. But I can't see them getting a hold of the Gold Coast around the contest unless they really flood the numbers, and that will be a really nasty outcome for both teams, I reckon, because I reckon Gold Coast will surge forward with their quality, hit the scoreboard really quickly.
Daniel Harford and Nathan Burke, your experts. We'll hear from Alexia Pesha, who's on the boundary throughout the game. And here's Andrew Mays to call the opening exchanges of Yoroke against Gold Coast.
Marshall v Witts in the ruck, and here's Witts who palms it to the outside. A bit of a scramble at ground level. He dives on top of Marshall, and he's going to be pinged holding the ball. So Witts with the free kick in the opening exchanges. Noble trying to get free to run around him. Just missed him with the handball. He's going to kick instead. Go to 30 out directly in front. No mark taken at ground level. Anderson received the hand pass from Rowell into the forward pocket. Walter becomes spoiler and makes sure that it is a stoppage for the Suns. They'll enjoy it 5 metres around from their behind post. Opening stages of the game, 30 seconds gone. We are all locked up 0 apiece.
And not a huge crowd in for what's been a busy weekend of fixtures in Melbourne. This is the third game in 2 days here after the double up yesterday. Throw in forward pocket for the Suns. Good hand pass from Long out to the pocket. Snap across the face of goal from Ainsworth. Pitches in the opposite pocket. Flanders is there. Hand passes to Closey. Snaps a goal from 25 metres out in the left forward pocket. And the Suns get the first on a Sam Closey right foot snap. And it's taken them only a minute to get on the board at Docklands.
Well, smart move by Gold Coast Suns. They've started Tuke Miller in the forward line for that first bounce. And Nasai Wanganeen Milera has picked him up. And he's moving into the middle now, Tuke Miller, I think. But Wanganeen Millera has picked him up. It was Took Miller who actually got the ball from the clearance, the throw-in in the forward line. They understand that Wanganeen Millera is very, very ball-focused.
Yep.
He won't keep an eye on Miller, who's now gone into the middle, but that just kept the ball alive, kept it inside their forward line, and Closey end up snapping a really nice goal. But I think you'll find that working through Wanganeen Millera will put some ball winners, ball getters, and see who wins that battle.
Suns were the opener, and that bounce was at right angles.
I could have done that.
It'll be recalled. Back in the middle. Witz again, palms it down, still got a hand on it. Windhager was taken in the tackle, got his hand pass away, straight to Anderson though, out to Miller, further out wide, Fiorini inside 50 with the pass mark taken by Long. And he'll line up from 30 out, 45-degree angle to the right.
That's a bit easy at the moment out of the centre bounce. Free kick with the first one, of course, getting inside forward 50 for the Suns, but that was pretty crisp work. Intercepted the ball from Windhager out of the middle, and then they were off to the races. And on the outside, you give them time and space, and they will cut you to pieces, this Gold Coast Suns outfit. So that's a concern for the Saints early doors.
76 goals in his 120 games, Ben Long. 27 years of age. Lines up, 35 out, and he squeezes it home. Suns with the first two. It's a bright start here under the roof for Gold Coast.
Bright start. You need your shades. We had Mac Andrew out there warming up in a hat before.
Yes, that was strange.
Which was unusual. And maybe he knew what was going to happen. He needed to just really keep the light off them. That's a hot start. Good space through their forward line. They worked really well, although Jed Walter did sort of close into that Ned Long space in the end. But that's 20 goals for Long for the year.
He's having a good run.
Sort of year.
He's having a good run. He's just gone from playing a big hand and taking a Mark of the Year contender up at home in Darwin to now kicking a goal early against his old team.
Can I paraphrase the minds of every St Kilda supporter in this place? Why did we let him go?
That's right.
What happened there? How did he end up there and he's not playing for us?
79 games for the Saints, Berkey, but now suiting up for the Suns, 2 straight early on for Gold Coast. Centre bounce again. Neither ruckman gets a hand, but there's a whistle. Marshall's going to get the free kick, so the Saints will get a clearance. Marshall kicks straight down the corridor into attack through the hands of the leading forward there. The young fella in Keeler leading out, couldn't take the mark. Ricochets into the pocket. Hill picks up but can't run away with the ball. Mason Wood's given away a free kick.
You're not allowed to spoil anymore.
And Closey will take it in the right back pocket for the Suns. He kicks it to right half back. Dan Rioli takes the mark.
Last night you could crunch in front on and get away with it.
I saw it 2 in a row last night. Like, that was from behind. That was not a chop of the arm. That was just body on body, smash into him as he's trying to mark the ball, and umpires play a free kick.
Rioli went inboard, then went the banana down the line. It's a turnover ball. Saints with numbers. Wanganeen Millera receives the hand pass from Jones. He's running backwards. Time to take a bounce. Did well to get it to Webster. Chip around the boundary line is good, and Wood presents just backward of centre wing.
Plays on with a kick, marked by Steele. He hand passes to Wanganeen Miller, a kick to half forward. Unfortunately, Filippo slipped over for the Saints, couldn't take the mark, and the ball runs out of play. And we'll see a boundary throw in at left half forward for the Saints. Half time at the MCG, where the Demons enjoy a lead over the Swans there. Earlier today, it was the Crows by 11 goals over the Eagles. It's Nam leading by 22 points over the Swans at the MCG from the throw-in. Left half forward for the Saints. No one really with the clearance. Jones plays tackler on Anderson. Ball back over the line and another throw-in. Suns 2 straight. Saints yet to score. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Looks like Windhager's got the job on Anderson today. Bit of jostling between those two at the moment. Ball tossed into play. Witz reaches over the top. Flanders got it out. Nice hand pass. Found Miller. Snapped off one step. Up towards half forward. No mark taken at ground level. Taken in a strong tackle, O'Connell. Ball pinned to him. We'll have a ball up. 70 around from the Suns goal now. 2 straight 12 with the opening couple of goals. St Kilda yet to score. 5 played opening term.
Pretty subdued atmosphere under the roof at Docklands as from the stoppage, Sharman comes out to a hopeful clearing kick, takes a mark on the wing, plays on for the Saints. Deep entry from behind. Higgins against Andrew. They both wear number 1. There's 2 foot difference in height. Keeley, though, with the hand pass, keeps it alive, and it's run into goal by Owens. He kicks the Saints first. Received a hand pass from Filippo. And Owens from the top of the goal square gets a replying goal for St Kilda. Suns 2 straight. Euro, 1 straight. And there are 2 things to talk about there. Has there ever been a greater height differential from 2 players wearing the same number in Higgins and Andrew? And otherwise, the Saints have got a goal. But
Wouldn't be too many, Q, but he did a good job just to get hands on it, get the ball to ground and let his other forwards go to work. I love Sharman being up high and getting that contested mark on centre wing. Then you see Brad Hill take off to the open side. Didn't use him, but they spread the Gold Coast defence on the back of that, found a way through the corridor and put some defensive pressure on the Suns. And if you can do that often enough, you will find a way to score. That was a little walk in there in the end for Owens. So relatively positive, but the win from Sharman was the key.
Lovely tap down to Anderson. That was straight out of the training book. His
Absolutely.
delivery inside 50. Just missed Walter on the lead and out inside the forward pocket.
That's warm-up, pre-game warm-up stuff. That is. Tap it to the bloke running through, no defensive pressure, walks to the top of 50 and tries to find a lead.
If you get one of those a month, you're lucky.
I did mention Windhager had gone to him. I just didn't see him on that occasion. Not quite sure where he got stuck. Witts palms it behind from the boundary throw-in. Clark taken straight away. We'll have a ball up inside attacking 50 for the Suns. They lead by a goal. Almost 8 minutes gone in the opening quarter.
So the Saints average the 17-month hit-outs for footy at the moment, 33.6 for a game. The Suns are number 1.
Marshall first hand, but Rao with the rove. Hand pass to Flanders on the boundary. Gives to Closey. 40 out. Centering kick to the goal square. Off hands Holman, half a chance. Couldn't pick it up. And Trevally is there for the Saints in the time of need. Hand passes to Sinclair in the left back pocket. Clearing kick is marked by Owens at left half back for Euro.
Lovely, strong set of hands. Owens looking up the field, then back inside defensive 50. Pokes the pass and Webster's called to play on. That's a nice outlet kick, although Wood just went at it with one hand. Spilt the mark. Back to Owens, who hand passes into the middle. Sinclair off to Clark, who was taken straight away. Did he have the ball? Umpire wave play on. Back in the middle by Sinclair. Now to Travalia, across the face, and O'Connell might have caught one high anyway for his troubles. He wins the free kick for the Saints. Kicks inside attacking 50. Marshall, one grab, not the second. Coming out, Sharman keeps it in front of himself. Then hand passes to Keeler. Wilson bounced off him. Hand pass inboard. It's going to miss all Saints targets. Now a chance for Noble. Receives the long hand pass. Had a player on short. Went longer instead, and he's turned it over as Webster comes in the contest and takes a nice intercept mark.
From right half back, kicks across the half back line. It's at the bootlaces of Wood, who has a fumble, just gets his hand pass clear, but it's stolen by Closey on attacking 50 for the Suns. Hand pass to Swallow, taps it along the ground to King, run down by Wilkie, great tackle, a goal saver for the veteran Saints defender Cal Wilkie, coming back in the time of need.
Yeah, outstanding effort there by Wilkie. I don't mind the switch from Jimmy Webster. It just didn't quite hit its target, but they managed to get numbers there and clean it up, which no damage done.
Wilkie to Sinclair to Hill. Nice outlet kick too. He finds Wilson. Chip over the top is good to Windhager, who's run forward. He's 70 out from goal. Short pass is lovely. He finds Owens, who just found a couple of metres of space, and he can line up for his second within 5 minutes.
When they get the ball back, Berkey, their ball movement's been pretty good, the Saints. They've found good options on the outer side on the boundary between the arcs, and then they've had good overlap run at times as well, and a couple of really nice entries into their forward 50. So this is relatively positive outside the contest work at the moment, where they're being given a bit of a lesson.
Good answer here from the Saints, who were challenged early when the Suns kicked 2 in the opening 3 minutes of the match. In comes Owens. From 48, strikes it to the left. But he is one behind. 1 goal, 1 for him. 1 goal, 1 for the Saints. They trail by 5 points. The Suns 2 straight after 10 minutes.
It's Andrew Mays. I'm Quentin Hull, Nathan Burke, along with Dan Harford and Alexa Pesha with you on Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. Suns successfully from the inbound get it to left half back. Bodie Hewlin takes the mark. Runner up in the best and fairest last year, the blonde-headed Bodie with his right boot. Kicks along the broadcast wing to a pack. Big fly from Walter. Brings it to ground level. Stolen though by Clark of the Saints. Rush kick up the wing is marked by Sharman. Just forward of the wing, Cooper Sharman for the Saints. Chips it around the boundary line. Well read by Fiorini. Intercepted. Pass was intended for Young Hall, but didn't get there. Fiorini marks infield, kicks to Ainsworth. All the way back to fullback with the kick for Collins as they switch from the Dr. City side. Jeffrey receives and passes to Andrew on right half back.
Andrew with a long kick up towards half forward. Reed in front couldn't take the mark. At ground level, Miller tried to get onto it. Was he repelled? He was, illegally. So Duke Miller with the free. He's 70 from goal. He was going to go short. He did in the end, took a little bit off it. Nice spoil in the end. And then Clark hand passes to absolutely no one but the boundary line, and that is absolutely deliberate every day of the week. Closely with the short chip inboard to Miller. Take 2 from where we were 30 seconds ago.
Did you say Took 2?
Long kick from Miller. All the way to the goal line almost. Walter up. And at ground level, no one going anywhere. In fact, the umpire lets them roll for a long time. Ball not really making any progress there, and we'll have a stoppage inside the attacking goal square for the Suns, who lead by 5.
Doesn't matter fly, Jed Walter.
Well, Keeler let him.
Yep.
They can't have that going on too often in that forward 50 region for this.
Oh, Owens taps down, but Boundary side close. He roves, hands to Long in tight. He snapped without great penetration. Owens almost marks for the Saints, and Reed picks up, but is tackled out of play. So a boundary throw in the right forward pocket for Gold Coast. It's the Suns 2 straight. You row, you roke. The Saints 1-1-7. And we've travelled almost 13 minutes under the roof at Docklands, with the Crows beating the Eagles by 11 goals earlier today. Boundary throw in. Anderson roves boundary side, tackled by Clark. Got a hand pass away to Closey, who's been lively early. Hands it to Swallow, but Swallow's tackled over the line by Wood. And another boundary throw in. Saints in the left back pocket. Suns in attack in the right forward pocket.
Squared a couple of big contests there, the Saints. Pressure's been good defensively here. They'll be hoping to get it out. Toss back into play, inside attacking 50. Owens tried to take it out of the ruck. Swallow coming in there for the Suns, and then perhaps a high tackle it was. And Windhager will receive the free kick.
Certainly threw the head back, making sure.
Left back pocket. Comes wide, and Caminiti has it. Looking for a way out. It's off the side of the boot, almost out of bounds on the fall, and O'Connell's forced to spoil out just to neutralise, and there'll be a ball up 80 around from the Suns' goal.
Just Sharman and Caminiti just showing their inexperience with ball in hand a little bit. Just the legs start going, and before they've actually found a target to kick to, and it's just part of their evolution of being a better team, the Saints, being able to make better decisions with the football.
Great palm down from Reed to Humphrey. It's turned over though infield, intercepted by O'Connell of the Saints. Long click to half forward, no one's there except for Collins of Gold Coast. Takes the mark, kicks towards the bullseye. Hewlin marks, plays on with a lateral kick to Andrew. Chips it wide. Rioli receives forward of the wing. Rioli with Hill in front of him. Rioli takes him on and kicks deep to full forward. Walter, 2 bites. Not enough to control it. Dropped it the second time. Play on, says the umpire, as the players now pile in. And it's going to be a ball up. Also, Jed Walter at one point is going to take mark of the year, I reckon.
He's certainly going to have a few cracks at it, isn't he?
In his career, he loves a fly.
Tossed up. Owens won it down. Bursting through the stoppage, Ainsworth got a boot to it. The goalkeeper was there, Wilkie. Off the outside of the boot, outside of defensive 50 for the Saints. Holman tries to keep it in front of him, then turns tackler. He locks things up 60 from goal.
Just watching the Gold Coast forward line as the ball's coming in from fast transition, and they just seem to be working into each other's space a bit, some of the key position players there. So they sort that out and own their own space. A few more options, but also less defensive pressure to mark the ball.
Umpire takes a tumble. O'Connell hooks it around the body. No one really thought that should be insufficient return. It is.
It's not really, but it is in modern footage.
So Collins with the free kick. He's in front of the interchange benches. 15 goal opening term. It's the Suns by 5 after they kicked the opening couple of goals. Long kick forward, no mark taken. Webster tries to burst through a tackle, and then he's wrapped up, going absolutely nowhere. A stoppage to take place just inside 50 for Gold Coast.
Saints are bringing Owens right up the ground to contest the ruck work, so Keeler can sit a kick behind play and just be the tall presence in their defence.
Reed got the tap down, but Clark bolts his way to win the rove. Windhager helps out, hand pass to Burns, tackled, got a boot to it. Windhager back after it again, is wrapped up by Jeffrey. And the ball rumbles its way towards the wing. And that wasn't Windhager, in fact it was young Hall who was on top of that one for the Saints. So it's going to be tossed in the air. Windhager actually nudging there with Anderson. He's playing tackler this time on Rowell with help with Jones.
The issue with Keeler sitting back there, the Gold Coast Suns have got an extra player around the contest.
Steele comes through, can't really pick it up, but ricochets to Jones. Torpedoes it around the boundary line, but beautifully controlled by Collins going back with the flight. Takes the mark at left half back. He just continues to be one of the really good stories, Sam Collins. Tried out at Freo and then recycled through the VFL before getting his second crack at AFL level, and he's become such an important player for Gold Coast as they switch to the right half back flank. Dan Rioli marks, chips a short pass. Andrew takes the grab. Had to earn it with Wilson right on his hammer. Mac Andrew right on halfway on the outer side. Suns lead by 5 points. Andrew with a high kick to attacking 50. Or ricocheted off the chest of Caminiti. Reed taps it to the advantage of Walter. Hand pass to Humphrey. In game 50, 45 out on the boundary. Has a ping on goal but leaves it near side. Misses everything. Out of bounds on the full. Free kick for Yoroke in the left back pocket. Crosstown at the G. Third term's underway. Nam 7-13-55. Leads Sydney 5-1-31.
Wanganeen Miller has it. Goes short to Wilkie. Right back pocket.
Half time in the
short again.
Sorry, Maisie. Half time in the NRL, by the way. Warriors 8, Raiders 8. Both calls available on the ABC Listen app.
O'Connell has it. Goes to the wing. Oh, great mark. Standing in front. Powell waiting for the contact to come. Strong hands.
He's become a real good player too, Will Powell. Really loved his development in the last 2 years.
He's going to poke it short. Instead, he's gone high and long. It'll land inside 50.
Except for that kick.
Commentator's curse. First one of the day. Caminiti takes the mark. Gets it quickly to Wanganeen Miller. Although Wilson fell over and Mac Andrew with the easy intercept mark.
Kicks to half forward, swallow the target, doesn't get to him. Travalia roves out the back for the Saints. Hand passes to Hill on D50. Good kick, Steele marks it. Defensive side of the wing edge of the centre square. Plays on quickly. Chips it out wide. And Windhager's pass to half forward. Higgins was the target as it punched away by Hewland. Out of play for a throw-in. So the Suns got the first 2 goals. And the Saints have got 1-1 answering since. 5 points the lead to Gold Coast. 2 straight 12 to 1-1-7. Almost 19 minutes played first term.
10 inside 50s to 4 in favour of the Suns. The Saints are holding up pretty well defensively, one-on-one with balls coming in at speed.
Yeah, they've still got Keeler sitting as a tall player behind the plays. They've got an extra number back there. Their key is that they're trying to get numbers back and then catch the Suns out on the fast play going forward. A slow play, long ball inside forward 50 won't work for them.
Anderson with the clearance. High kick around the boundary line to right half forward. A couple were nudged underneath. That umpire said play on. Ainsworth had to become the tackler. Travalia for the Saints. Works the 1-2. Then back to Hill. Back inside defensive 50. Short pass. He's not... Well, I didn't think it was far enough. But they played the mark to Keeler, which was lucky to say the least. And that one is called play on. So Brad Hill has to go very quickly around the corner. No mark taken. Jeffrey tracking back, able to pick up the crumbs. Off to Collins. High kick again around. And then Long attacked it with some ferocity. Took a couple out in the process. Kick around the corner comes back to Jeffrey, who shrugs one tackle. Looking for an outlet by hand. It's Collins. And then he goes further back by foot to Andrew, who's also called to play on.
He's on defensive 50 at right half back, Mac Andrew. He's the other 50 gamer, he and Humphrey reaching that milestone. He's kicked to the wing, Wood with late contact on Jeffrey. Oh, apparently. Yeah, I was a bit that way as well. It's a 50-metre penalty.
It was late-ish, but as we took the replay, I'll have a bit of a look at this. He did mark the ball. He went up. Oh, he did sort of drag the arm down. I'll cop that. That's fair.
Dan Harford with you on ABC Sport. So 50-metre penalty sees Joel Jeffrey brought to within scoring range, you'd think. Man on the mark's 51 metres out. And they kicked the 1 goal so far this year, Joel Jeffrey. Right foot from 55. Good purchase on the kick. It's got the journey, but it's off to the right. It's a behind. Suns by a goal, 2-1 to 1-1. Alexia Pesce is enjoying the somewhat subdued atmosphere at ground level. Lex, welcome to you.
Hello, guys. Yeah, look, it started quiet, but I think the crowd is starting to warm up. They're definitely getting a bit vocal. And I guess when you look at the record between these sides, even though the latter wouldn't say so, they have played in some close matches recently, so hopefully the crowd has an influence today.
Saints have worked this up to half forward. High kick to the point of 50. No mark taken. With a long kick, it's a little dicey. Rioli had a fumble. Noble there for support. Hand pass wide. And he follows up nicely. Rioli, lightning hands to Swallow over the top. Now to Holman. Where's the next point? It didn't come. Oh, he just got the hand pass away at the last moment despite being tackled. Rowell to Ewan. He can go straight up the middle if he wants. He is. He's going to go to half forward. Waiting for it was Reed. Punch came from behind. Wilson there for pressure. Oh, Reed grabbed it like a rover. His left foot scrubbing kick to the top of the goal square. Bounced and away from a couple of Suns. Now Wilkie. Hand pass over the top to Wanganeen Miller. It is still back to Wanganeen Miller. And now they're out the Saints.
Good kick to Wood, defensive side of the wing. Marks and plays on. Kicks to Philippoa. Kick and a half from goal. Philippoa deep entry. Higgins went out in the cage with Powell. Powell protects the drop and rushes a point. And just the minor score with that quick ball movement for the Saints down the outer wing. Suns by 5 points.
Yulan with the mark. Left back pocket, chips over the top to Powell, who kicked out to him.
His quick transition from the Saints are going really wide through the middle of the ground and drag, making it as big as humanly possible. So the Suns have to defend every centimetre of this venue.
22 minutes gone. We had 3 goals in the opening 6 minutes, but haven't had a major since. Up to the wing with the kick. Miller. Off to Flanders and then back to Fiorini around the corner. It's a nice kick. He finds Long, who's 65 from goal. She's going to put it to the top of the square and ask for the Flyers. King worked his way to the front. Holman stayed down, got the crumb and kicked the easiest goal. The Suns break the duck after 16 minutes of no goals. They are able to put their third on the board. 3-1-19, leading Euro 1-8, margin 11 points, 23 gone.
Disappointing for the Saints because, as you mentioned, Half, they've been defending really well up until that point, and multiple entries that they've repelled, and some of them they've done really well to get the ball up the other end, but that was just a soft one. There was 3 Saints players that went up to spoil the ball, didn't get any purchase on it whatsoever, just dribbled over the back, which is the last place you want the ball to go when you're spoiling the ball 10 metres out, and an easy goal for Holman. So let themselves down there from some really good defensive work for 8 or 9 minutes or so.
What do you say to Ethan Reid? Do you get a message out? Or you talk to him one-on-one at quarter time for just holding his ground and letting the defender kill that ball 10.5 forward?
Centre bounce and Jones roves the ruck tap. Quick clearance for the Saints, but Hewland too good for Wilson. Just nudges him out of the way, and Bodie Hewland, impressive young player and well regarded at the club, takes the mark at half back. Short kick to the bullseye. Miller takes the grab, plays on with a hand pass to Jeffrey. Long kick from the middle of the Docklands to half forward, ill-directed. Walter was caught out the back, and Caminiti takes an pretty well uncontested mark. Just inside defensive 50 for the Saints. Kicks it all the way back to fullback. Oh, Keeler very casually takes the one-handed mark at full, and a lovely pass to left half back. Wilkie takes the mark beyond defensive 50, plays on, passes to Steele, grabs it on halfway, hands it to the running Jones. Jones kicks wide. He's got Burns. Marks plays on with a hand pass. Didn't get it to Hill. Stolen by Fiorini. His hand pass, though, pinched by Burns again. Saints have got it back. Rush kick inside 50. Gets out the back of the pack. Andrew there. Hold on. There's a whistle anyway. Suns free kick going to Collins, who was manhandled in the contest. Gold Coast 3-1-19. Euro 1-8, 25 minutes. First term, Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Mitch Owens has a habit of pushing people in the back, and he just did it again with the ground ball, but he does it a lot. He gives away 2 or 3 free kicks every game for pushing people in the back.
Which is a good effort because they don't play that rule very often these days.
No, that's how obvious it is.
Suns work it wide. It'll be a stoppage. Marshall palmed it down. Oh, Humphrey just burst out of the middle. Got it to Miller, but missed with his hand pass. Jones there for the Saints, able to scoop it up. Was looking for the handball backwards. Hill presented an option. And he gets it to Clark. Clark's snap is smothered. Long just smashes it forward. Straight into the path of Wilkie, though, who's taken in a big tackle by Rowell. And he'd cop one for his troubles there too, Matt Rowell, but he's straight back up to his feet. Ball handed to the umpire. Will have a stoppage just forward of centre here for the Suns.
Quickly thrown in the air. And no clearance will go again. By the way, the text message number, if you want to get in touch, 0437 774 774. Please send us your name and where you're texting from as Clark reads the tap, bangs it from the wing to half forward for the Saints. Owens tries to flip it over his head to keep it in. He does, but Philippo couldn't arrive in time. Stolen by Andrew of the Suns. Hands it to Noble, hands it to Collins. Short pass once again to Bodie. Is that a good start, Newland?
It's coming up for number 8.
Yep. Newland decides to kick again. Infield on the 45. Miller marks, kicks to the edge of the bullseye for Ainsworth. Newland's rolling on. Ainsworth ignores him. But Travalia has trod on a landmine in the 38th parallel.
The umpire had just called stand, and he took a couple of steps backwards.
It's one of my I know it's our first time working together. That's my, the demilitarised zone between North and South Korea, known as the 38th parallel.
Yes, now it makes
the
sense.
no-go zone.
Now it makes sense.
Yes.
Yes, well played.
The exclusion zone, and that's why Travalia has been marched 50 metres downfield, and it gives Ben Ainsworth a shot on goal. Man on the mark's only 35 out, and no angle to speak of. For a man who's already kicked 5 goals this year, Ainsworth, right foot drop, punt, pumps his fist as soon as he hits it, likes it, kicks the goal. Suns lead by 17 points at 4-1-25 to Uraya Oaks 1-8. By the way, on the text, g'day to Nick, who's listening in South Australia. He goes, I'm listening to the call about to put a lamb rack into the wood oven. Say g'day to my dad in Victoria. Go Saints, says Nick.
What's Dad's name?
G'day to Nick's dad. I'm not sure what Nick's dad's name is. 0437 774 774. Dan Harford, Nathan Burke, that was a cheapie.
Yeah, it was a cheapie. 50-metre penalty. When you get a ball in the middle of the ground, it's always going to be a pretty good opportunity to score a goal. So not a problem there for Ainsworth. I'm interested in the glaze that Nick's running with on his
Sunday evening roast, listening to the footy.
I'm very keen to find out what sort of glaze he's running with.
How good is that?
Someone listening in northern Spain on the Camino Trail last night, if you can top that, send through a message.
Steele with the clearance. Got pushed in the back as he kicked it inside 50. Didn't matter. Higgins took the mark anyway. He's 48 from goal. Not quite sure if he's got the journey. He loads up all the way to the goal line. In fact, it's out of bounds on the full. The way to the left. So a little bit of a wasted entry there from the Saints.
Silly entry there from Higgins. He knows he can't kick that far.
Yep.
So he just took it point. I'm just going to have a shot no matter what, and kicked it out of bounds on the full. Just take your time, find a teammate, give them a chance.
Dees are still holding the Swans at arm's length across town. It's mid-third term there. Naarm by 22 points. Hewland with the long inbound. Kicks to the wing, and a pack forms. Umpire calls for a ball up. It was the Crows over the Eagles by 66 points earlier today. And second half just underway in the league. Raiders and the Warriors at 8-all. Flanders receives a handball from the clearance. On the wing for the Suns. Kicks to half forward. Keeler off the back of the pack. Does the roving for the Saints. He's near the boundary line. Kicks infield but straight to Anderson of the Suns. Hand passes to Rowell. 70 out right half forward. Kick to full forward and Closey's there again.
It's a good kick.
Closey takes the mark. 30 metres out, slight angle.
Look, I said this before the game to you guys. Young Keeler, he's going to be a good player. He's got a lot of talent, a lot of physical, athletic ability, but he's not up to this level. And to play him as a loose man where you need to be smart, you need to make good decisions when you get the ball, because you'll get the ball more often. And why they're playing him as a loose man in defence has got me stumped.
Right on the quarter-time siren. Closey kicked the first goal of the game and he hits the post. With the hooter echoing under the roof in the background. It's a point to end what is still a pretty good first term for the visitors. The Gold Coast Suns hold a 3-goal lead over Euroke, the Saints, at quarter time. It's the Suns 4 goals to 26, leading the Saints 1-8. So Closey, Long, Holman and Ainsworth with those goals for the Suns. Owens with the goal for Euroke. 4-2 to 1-2. Suns lead it at quarter time here at Docklands, and just repeating across town at the MCG. Bailey Fritsch is lining up for another one for the Demons. Naarm 8-13-61. In fact, he's right in front. Make it 9-13-67 to the Swans 6-3-39. So Naarm looking to bankroll their good win against the Lions at the Gabba last week to stay in the fight and the narrative of this season. Earlier today, Crows 19-14, 128 to the Eagles 8-14-62. So the Crows winning by 11 goals there, and 8-all still that scoreline in the NRL between the Warriors and the Raiders. It's the Suns by 3 goals. Quarter time here at Docklands. You're listening to Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Any plans that survived were destroyed. They were burned to cover up the story.
Join me, Mark Fennell, as I discover some of history's craziest turning points in my brand new podcast, No One Saw It Coming, on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Snap across the face of goal from Ainsworth. Pitches in the opposite pocket. Flanders is there. Hand passes to Closey. Snaps a goal from 25 metres out in the left forward pocket. And the Suns get the first on a Sam Closey right foot snap.
Further out wide, Fiorini inside 50 with the pass mark taken by Long. Lines up 35 out and he squeezes it home. Suns with the first two.
From behind, Higgins against Andrew. They both wear number 1. There's 2 foot difference in height. Keeley, though, with the hand pass, keeps it alive, and it's run into goal by Owens. He kicks the Saints first.
Finds Long, who's 65 from goal. She's going to put it to the top of the square and ask for the Flyers. King works his way to the front. Coleman stayed down, got the crumb and kicked the easiest goal.
Kicks to the edge of the bullseye for Ainsworth. Yulin's rolling on. Ainsworth ignores him. But Travalia has trod on a landmine in the 38th parallel. Ainsworth, right foot drop, punt. Pumps his fist as soon as he hits it. Likes it. Kicks the goal.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Quentin Hull with the team at Docklands. It's the Suns leading the Saints by 3 goals at quarter time. And before our experts, Nathan Burke and Dan Harford, tell you about it, most importantly, Daniel, for you, the name of the dad is Mal.
Oh, yes, good.
This is from Nick in South Australia. He's putting the lamb roast on. No glaze. It's a red wine jus and lots of veggies.
Red wine jus. Who doesn't love jus? Even just the spelling's good enough, isn't it?
I would have gone balsamic, but that's okay.
No, red wine, that works okay. I love a jus.
Sunday roast. You're going to roast the Saints for that first half hour? What do you reckon?
No, I'm not. I thought they were actually all right. We talked about it through the call in that first quarter with Burke. They actually defended pretty well, and they got clearance game back on terms. 11-8, they won the clearance count against the Gold Coast, which is not easy to do. So they've done a lot of things right. Their progress forward was really swift and did catch the Suns napping a few times. They just weren't able to capitalise in good spots. I just have some concerns about the matchup, that loose man matchup that Burke is on about is a problem. And I think the tide is going to, unless they can get momentum back, 16-9 inside 50s, if that continues, they will find their looks, the Gold Coast Suns, and that's going to be a real challenge. I saw Ross Lyon down on the bench. Interesting to see what Lex took out of his demeanour with the players just before the quarter-time siren. He was being pretty animated toward Jimmy Webster about what was happening perhaps behind the ball. So they've got to sort that out, because the contest has been okay. Their forward line entries have been a bit of a problem, but they are going to get opened up, and they continue to allow so much ball back inside their defensive 50.
Well, we'll segue through Lex on our way to Berkey. Lex Pesha on the boundary.
No, you bang on. He did have a bit to say, and we know how animated Ross Lyon can get. He was also talking to Zach Jones, and you can imagine he's just saying his defenders, man up at this point. So animated for now, first quarter, worrying signs. Could it get worse for Ross Lyon? Possibly.
Possibly.
Yeah, the height of Gold Coast has spooked them down in defence. So you've got King, Walter, Reid. Saints have got Wilkie, who's an undersized defender, outstanding defender, but slightly undersized. Caminiti down there, who's a forward, just filling in down there. And they've had to put Mason Wood back there as well, which, to be honest, he's their best forward at the first half of this year and the end of last year. So they're spooked by having to play those players back there. And Keeler, who's a young fella who didn't realise that he was on the bench, and now he's coming off. So
I thought he might have heard you, Berkey.
Might have switched off at quarter time. Didn't quite look at the board, but
no one looks at the board, Berkey.
No. And they got young Toby Travalia down there as well now as a defender, and so yeah, they're spooked by the height.
On the text line, John and Jenny from Bacchus Marsh say there's no lamb rack here, but we're doing homemade spring rolls and fried rice.
Oh, that's good Saints. Sunday fare. That's good Sunday fare.
0437 774 774. And someone likes my 38th parallel joke for the exclusion zone. Dennis in Mortdale. He says, I'm listening to the Saints and Sons. I love hearing the sprinkling of military and cultural history. You guys might be readers as well as talkers. That's a wrap.
Big wrap.
Let's get into the second quarter. Here's Andrew Mays.
Back in the middle, and good tap won by Wits, but it's going nowhere. It caught underneath a couple of Saints, including Jack Steele.
Just back to Lex.
Just one quick question for our experts up there. Why wouldn't Ross Lyon come down and coach on the boundary for now, or in the box? What's the difference? Why is he doing that?
He's not a notorious bench man, is he? He likes to be able to see the game from up high and talk to you. I think he's a big coach talker, assistant coach talker, Lex, is what I've noticed with Ross, speaking to people that have worked with him. Whether or not that's the reason he stays up there all the time, well, I'm not 100% sure, but I know he does love discussion.
Windhager sockers the ball forward. Owens collected, banged it inside 50. Awkward bouncing ball. Sharman, one grab, and then the second he snaps. It's just across the face and through for one behind. So the first score of the second quarter goes the way of Euroke. 139 plays 4-2-26.
And Jeffrey has no pressure on him whatsoever as he bounces his way through the pocket on the inbound and kicks it to the wing. Good kick. Almost a mark to Caminiti out the back of the pack. Couldn't hold on to it. Rode by Sinclair. Snap from the boundary towards half forward. Andrew knuckles it away from the contest for the Suns. Ricochets to the edge of the centre square. Jones can't handle it. Windhager has a go. Tackled immediately as he takes possession. And the umpire will come in for a ball up.
You're a bench coach, Berkey.
Yes. It was a little bit different with the girls because you needed to look them in the eye and find out what their demeanour was and let them know that it's all okay right there and then on the spot. Defensive side of the stoppage, Suns win it. Fiorini with a hand pass to Noble, no great creativity to the wing. O'Connell chops off for the Saints. Hands it to Filippo, nice little turn, gives it to Sinclair, chip in field, gathered on the bounce by Burns. Hands to Filippo, 70 out, and he hits Sharman with the inbound kick. Mark on 40 by the former Leighton Witten Crow. That's the key for the Saints. They've got to keep winning those stoppages. They're doing a good job of the stoppages at the moment, but if they get some clean exits out of the stoppage, not just banging the ball forward, then that'll go a long way to kicking a winning score. I love telling these Riverina stories. So Witten Yanko with the Tigers, Leighton with the Demons. They merged and became the Leighton Witten Crows. That's the Riverina reference for the day. That's the background of Cooper Sharman, mid-season draft pickup a couple of years ago. How's his kick from 50? Oh, it hits the post. Just misses, hit the padding, or just above the padding on the right upright there. So it's a point, 16 points is the lead to the Suns. We're 2.5 minutes into the second quarter.
Mark Taylor was born in Leighton, wasn't he?
Yeah, something like that. Although we claim him in Wagga, he did play for the Lake Albert Cricket Club, Maisie, which was my cricket club. Alexia Pesha on the boundary.
I don't want to carry on about coaching from down here, but Craig McRae does a very good job of it. And you look at a side like that, maybe Ross Lyon could do it then.
Up towards the wing, Wits at ground level fighting hard, just wrestled it forward and then slapped out of there, only as far as Sinclair of the Saints though. He kicks high and long, this will land right at the top of 50, no mark taken. Power ground level, cool, calm and composed. Gathered, gave it to Jeffrey, who missed his target, Flanders, so now a chance for Wanganeen Millerer, who turns on the Jets, might link up with Hill for the 1-2, and he tried to, but Hill's hand pass is knocked down. Gets it back, kicks inside, but only as far as Rao, who slides in and takes the defensive intercept mark on his chest.
And before my fellow Riverinas, do I use that as a collective? Get in touch. Yeah. Leighton were known as the Redlegs, even though they did play in the Demon Strip, a bit like Norwood, known as the Redlegs. So there you go, a bit of Southern New South Wales footy history. Here's Will Powell, he's from Western Australia playing for Gold Coast, just shy of centre half back, kicks the left half back.
That's that Lex on Western Australians.
Marked by Collins, kicks to the wing, Rioli takes the mark, an underground kick almost all along the deck, close, he makes good of it, picks up, chips to Miller, marks between the bullseye and centre half forward, kick and a half from goal, deep entry from Took Miller. Caminiti almost took the mark in a pack of 6, couldn't. Play on Fiorini for the Suns, hands to Holman, hands it out the back to Rowell, finds some space, 50 from goal, inboard kick, bounces in front of Flanders, good pressure from Wood, but Flanders goes again, picks up, snaps without enough penetration, and it's caught on the goal line by Wanganeen Millerer, who bounces away through the back pocket.
And the jersey that he helped design, long kick around the boundary line, but big fist from Powell sees it into about row D, and a ball in will take place in between wing and half forward for the Suns. They lead by 16, 1-4 plays 4-2, 5 gone, second term.
Saints have done a great job on Ben King so far. He hasn't looked like taking the mark inside 50.
Toss back into play, and it is going to be a free kick to Wits here, being held in that contest. Short hand pass to Noble, who was running around the back. Now the kick inside 50. Where are the leapers? Well, Travalia almost got it at the front of that pack, and then a big tackle coming over the top ensures things are locked up. He'll have a ball up and just a little worse for where as he gets to his feet. He's still, but he's okay. Gives it back to the umpire, and a ball up it'll be.
Suns leading by 16 points. Early stages, second term from the stoppage. Miller on attacking 50 for Gold Coast, receives a hand pass, gives it to the pocket. No great disposal there, although Travalia dropped it. Flanders picks up, kicks back to the goal mouth. Long almost marks, dropped it. Wanganeen Miller picks up for the Saints. Hands it through Marshall to Steele to Travalia. Inside at left half back, good footy. Hands it on to Filippo, to Owens by hand. They run it to the wing. Next man Travalia, then Windhager, then Jones. Forward of the wing. Saints cut him up by hand. How's the kick inside 50? Not great. Sharman was the target. Andrew does the spoiling. Rove by Jeffrey, and he kicks to right half back where Powell's there for Gold Coast. Tries to kick back to the wing. Took a touch, but Miller gathers for the Suns. Kicks it wide to the interchange gates. Witts takes the grab for Gold Coast.
Witts inboard, good kick to Rao. Back to Miller, who kept on running. Kicks inside, attacking 50. Right to the top of the square. Wilkie did enough in the contest. Humphrey tried to squeeze through, and it's holding the ball. Didn't quite get his fist on the footy.
Gee, Ethan Reid has been sitting in the right forward pocket twice. The Gold Coast Suns have been trying to enter. They just refuse to kick it to him, all by himself.
Wanganeen Miller with the free. That kick went about 8 metres, so Sinclair's called to play on in the left back pocket. Attacking kick still did well to gather the footy at ground level, and then Clark was really strong at ground level. Won the 50-50, Burns over the top, in front of Owens, gets to 60, pulled the kick, intelligent stuff, should get the 1-2, Sharman ignored him and said, I've got this anyway. He kicks his first after a couple of missed opportunities early in this second term. St Kilda have the first of the second quarter. The margin back to 10 points, 2-4 Euroke. To Gold Coast 4-2. We've played 7 minutes.
Well, they had an outstanding handball chain from their back pocket all the way down to their forward line about 2 minutes ago. Ended up with Zach Jones. Probably should have hit Jack Higgins leading at him. Went for the one over the top. Ball zooms down the other end. Thought they'd have another go at it. A handball chain through the middle of the ground. This time it was some smart work in the end by Mitch Owens just to get the ball across to Caminiti, whose play had left him to go towards Owens. And I like what Caminiti did there. He had a couple of options to handball the ball back or maybe hit a target. He said, no, take it upon myself. Off one step from 45 and put it through. So a really good handball chain twice by the Saints, ending in 1 goal.
Nathan Burke with you on Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. No clearance from the centre bounce. And Dan, your reaction to the first text about the lamb rack, like we've now got all of these Sunday dinner plans coming through. We love them. Quick clearance from the stoppage here. Witts got a kick out of that bounce, and it's gone inside 50. Long reads the drop and takes the mark. No great creativity about that. Just the big man getting it on his boot.
If Jimmy Webster got a spray from Ross Lyon just before quarter time, he'll get another one now because a quick kick out and you let your player come forward and take a chest mark. Modern day defending, that's where you should be. Should be playing in front of your opponent.
So Long, 40 metres out, is the man on the mark. He'll kick from about 48. Knows this venue well. He's kicked another against his old team. Ben Long continues his outstanding season. That's now 21 goals for the year. He kicked 26 last season. Already up to 21 this year, Ben Long, the man who wears number 22 for the Suns. It's Gold Coast now 5 goals to 32 to Euroke's 2-4-16. Crosstown at the MCG almost 3/4 time. Nam continue to hold the Swans at arm's length. The Demons 11-15-81 to Sydney 7-3-45. And Daniel, is Liam from Kensington says no rack of lamb or spring rolls, but beef stroganoff in the making here. Go Saints. Thank you, Liam. 0437 774 774.
My mum did the best stroganoff.
Oh.
Still does.
More to come of those in a moment, but centre bounce time, Maisie.
I'm keen to talk about stroganoff. Anderson, long kick inside 50 with the clearance. Oh, lovely. Off the pack, Keeler. Hand passed away to Webster, went back into traffic. Burns it was rather. Travalia okay by hand. High kick from Wilkie. Round, and Paul made a good contest, then turned tackler on Rioli. Well done, young man. And they'll have a ball up right in front of the interchange benches.
So how's this? We've got Sharon, who's texting from Amboise in the Loire Valley in France. There's gentle rain. She's about to head off to the fresh produce market Sunday morning over there. Go Saints. Thank you, Sharon.
Good on you, Sharon. Magnificent. Marshall couldn't get the clearance, and the Saints work it up beyond the wing, but another good intercept mark taken by Collins. There's been a few of those today. To centre half back, to Yulin, now to Rioli. Long sweeping hand pass is okay. And ends up with Jeffrey. He was going to go to the wing, pulls his kick at the last moment, goes a little more centrally and finds Ainsworth.
Kick and a half from goal at left half forward. Plays on Ainsworth. Deep kick to a packet full forward. And is there a whistle before the ball arrives? Yes, there is. There's a free kick going to King.
Let's have a look at this one. There didn't look like a lot in it. There's nobody's falling over, getting flung out of the way. No, it's not going to King.
It's going to Walter. It looked like O'Connell had taken the mark there, but Jed Walter got impeded. I'm still a little unsure as to what happened there.
Here to see what actually happened, because most of the players just turned around dumbfounded and said what for. It's probably just a little tug.
So it's a gift for Jed Walter to extend Gold Coast's lead. He's 15 metres out and pokes it through with his right boot. So 16 points is the margin in favour of Gold Coast, as the young man from the Palm Beach Currumbin Lions kicks his first goal of the afternoon. Gold Coast 5 goals to 32, lead Euro 2-4-16. You're hearing it on Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. Dan Harford and Nathan Burke, your experts.
Yeah, it was against Kel Wilkie. He just tried to stop him from getting a run and jump at the pack. Just put his arm around him a little bit.
And I need to revisit that score. I neglected to give the previous one. It's 6-2 now. 6-2, 38 to 2-4, 16.
Yeah, spun him, didn't he, with that little... Faced away from the ball, faced the opponent, and then spun him with the arm, and that was enough for the umpire. So they thought.
Yeah, there's three easy ones, a 50-metre penalty in the last 2 goals. Easy ones to the Suns. Can't afford that if you're the Saints.
Still with a clearance, snaps out of the centre circles, inside attacking 50, no mark taken. Hill, looping hand pass back to Steele, who continued his run forward. Wood just spotted an option at the last moment. It was Hall, went out with the one hand, couldn't take the mark. Snapped to the top of the square though, flies there. Wilson almost got it at ground level. Higgins onto it, keeps it in play to Burns. His hand pass is knocked down and we'll have a ball in. 30 around from the St Kilda goal, but nice centre clearance win there. They haven't had too many this afternoon.
Saints need one. Midway through this second term, 22 points of a lead to Gold Coast. Ball toss back into play. Owens against Witts. Neither with a clean tap, but roved well by Miller of the Suns. Hand passes to right half back. Holman couldn't pick up under a pressure from Travalia. Hill comes through and off the play, Steele was impeded. He gets the free kick. Left half forward. Kicks infield to Webster. They try and spread it to the right half forward flank. Boy, they've gone backwards to go all the way to the other side of the ground. Burns has got it. He's just forward of the wing. That play started only 60 from goal on the left half forward flank, and now Burns on the other side, almost 2 kicks from goal. Kicks it to the pocket. Big fly Sharman. Couldn't get the mark. And Clark plays tackler on Closey to lock it up in the pocket. Ball up with the Saints in attack.
They've restructured that defence too, Berkey. It's no longer Killer who's the spare, the loose player for them. It's Wengani Miller who's a much more dangerous player in that role, you'd reckon.
Witts down to Closey, clearing kick, long, dropped the mark, but was good enough to gather at ground level. Off to Ainsworth in a flash. He missed his target by handball. Newland had to paddle it to the advantage of its teammate. And coming back for it now is Keeler. Couldn't take the mark, gets it to Wangani Miller on the wing. Dummy, then works the 1-2. Back to centre half back where Travalia has it. Got a couple of players out. He goes back inside defensive 50 to Wilkie, and then Hill, who's been on his own for a while. He's got a bit of a panic in front of him, so he takes that left half back and walks 5 or 6 metres. And then he goes back inside defensive 50 to Wilkie, looking for another avenue out.
The Suns are happy to sit off.
Oh, it was a poor kick from Wilkie. Over the head of Caminiti. He's got work to do at ground level. paddles it in front of himself, then it's socket away from him. Walter onto it now. His hand pass straight to Keeler, though. So the Saints can repel. Keeler, kick around the corner is okay, and Burns takes the mark low down.
Right on halfway, quick hand pass to the running Wood, chips to half forward, steal marks, hands to Jones, hand pass to the corridor for Wanganeen Miller in the jersey he designed. He kicks a brilliant running goal for Euro in the final instalment of Sir Doug Nicholls' round. Oh, that was beautiful stuff. And one for the highlight reel. Footy can be a tough game sometimes, Berkey and Dan, but you get those moments where you get to represent your family, your people and your club, and you put on a highlight moment that'll live forever. Well done, Nasiah Wanganeen Miller.
Yeah, pretty special, isn't it, to have that moment, and it's the restructure that got him that opportunity. He's the one that's sitting behind the ball as the free now. Gold Coast Suns have to work out whether or not they want to continue to let that happen, because we've just seen the damage that he can have, the impact he can have when he gets that free rein to stroll through the corridor. Magnificent finish from 50, but it was all set up because he's the free runner.
And the Saints needed it. Suns 6-2-38, Euro 3-4-22.
It's one of the great sights in football nowadays, with the young fella just streaming through to that 50-metre line, kicking it 10 rows back, straight through the middle. It's a wonderful sight.
Rao with a clearance, gets the ball, advancing at about 30 metres, running onto it, Swallow. Couldn't quite gather cleanly. Clark there for the Saints. Kicks it out towards the wing. Ball sits on its point. It actually favoured Wilson in the end as it bounced back to him. Not a great kick for Higgins. Powell the spoiler. Sharman plays roll of Rover and rolls it through. Couple in a row for the Saints. 2 for Sharman. And the margin back to 10 points. 16 minutes played, second term, Gold Coast 6-2-38, St Kilda 4-4-28.
Well, Huff, I thought the Saints had their positioning mucked up forward, because you had Higgins coming out deep on the long lead and Sharman up the ground being the crummer. But it worked out perfectly. Higgins did his job, brought the ball to ground in a really good front position. Sharman got to the front and they dribbled it through from 30 metres, so they know what they're doing.
Yeah, Andrews had a bit of the ball, Mac Andrews, sitting on Sharman at the moment, but he went to the wrong side of that contest as Higgins was wrestling one-on-one with Phillips. He went to the back, Sharman went to the front, straight across it. Beautiful gather and a terrific finish too. He's feeling the moment at the moment for the Saints.
Dan Harford and Nathan Berg with your Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Sort of started a little bit in a subdued manner. It's building nicely though, this one. 10 points the lead to the Suns. Clearance from Anderson. Got a hand pass to Reid. Hands it to Ainsworth. Hands it to Rao. They run it to half forward. Hands to Closey on 50. Chip to the pocket's good. Flanders takes the mark and will hold it up and have a shot. Tough angle as the Suns cut them up by hand from the centre square stoppage.
Yeah, the best the Saints could do then was to make sure that the guy having the shot for goal was as close to the boundary line as they could. So the defender kept coming forward, forced that extra handball, and then the free player was the closest one to the boundary line. So a good effort, unless he slips this one through.
It's a tough angle for Flanders. 10 in from the boundary. The kick is across the face of Hands in the pocket. Caminiti decides discretion is the better part of that argument. Runs it through for a rushed behind. Suns 6-3-39. Saints 4-4-28.
Quick kick in. Oh, it's a little risky too. A lot of heat on the footy. Got through the hands of Wilson. Saints do well to get numbers. Wilson to Burns. Works the 1-2. Then inboard to Jones, who just got his arms free. Turned it over by hand though. Now Anderson with the turnover, kick inside 50, good spoil, ground level. Oh, it opened up for Flanders and he just pokes the pass short. It's a good one as well to Ainsworth, who can try and kick his second of the afternoon, 40 out directly in front.
Yeah, Kel Wilkie's pretty upset with his midfield there. He did a really good job to bring this ball to ground, spilled it, but the midfield for the Saints were just too slow getting back and clogging that area, and he let them know, which is good.
Ben Ainsworth, already on the scoreboard this afternoon. Kicked one in the opening term to the opposite end from 50 out directly in front. How is he at this end? High kick, but he loves it as much as he loved the first off the boot. The Suns answer back. He has 2 for the afternoon now, Ainsworth. Gold Coast 7-3-45. Euro 4-4-28. He played 20 minutes in the second term.
I'm watching Matt Rowell. He does a lot of good stuff that people see, but there's a really strong tackle here on Jones as the ball came in, and he just made sure that all the pressure was on him to try and get rid of the ball, and if he did so, it was going to be a messy delivery. Anderson read it really well off the tackle. He knew exactly what Jones was going to do with the handball over the head. It was the pressure of Matt Rowell. He's done it time and time again today around the contest, and you talk about he's good enough in the open space when he's got clear air to deliver the ball and be a really attacking weapon, but his defensive stuff is first rate.
And this is a lot more open than the last encounter between these two, which was, 94 points combined or something like that. Or was it 51 to 48? My maths is no good. 99 points. Here we are, 45-28, not even at half-time. No real distinguishable clearance from the centre bounce. It rumbles to the wing. Jeffrey picks up for the Suns. Hands it infield to Noble. And off the side of the boot, Noble's kick to attacking 50 falls in the lap of Ben Long. He is just having a purple patch, Ben Long.
Well, I think he's taken a couple of speckies last week. It's scared the Saints defenders from playing in front of him. He keeps just jogging forward and taking chest marks because the Saints defenders are playing him from behind. So it's scared to get a mark of the year taken on their head.
He's already got two. And this for a 23-point lead. Long of just a couple of steps.
Great.
And he's got it. And that's another for the Suns. It just carries the pack on the goal line. 3 goals for Ben Long against his old mob. And now 22 goals in the season. It's Gold Coast 8 goals, 3-51. Leading St Kilda 4-4, 28. Alexia Pesce on the boundary.
Jimmy Webster's come to the bench now, and I'm eagerly awaiting to see if he picks up the phone and what Ross Lyon might have to say to him this time.
Yes, keep an eye on that, Lex. I like those storylines bubbling along. Let's keep that going. Gee, the good kicking's good football, isn't it? 8-3 from the Saints, and their set shot kicking's been immaculate today. So it's a nice thing when you get away. You have to go interstate to a venue like this one is for them that hasn't been a happy hunting ground. If you can make the most of your opportunities from set shots.
Quick around the grounds. In the NRL, 10 minutes to go. The Raiders lead the Warriors at Mount Smart 16-10. And at the MCG, I'll give you that score in a moment. Maisie?
Marshall with the tap out. Sock it back into congestion. Miller almost out the front of the stoppage. Grab the footy. Oh, thought he might have to get rid of that. Steele asks the question as he gets to his feet. Miller hands it back to the umpire.
Nam 12-16-88 lead the Swans. The breakdown of goals and behinds has just disappeared as I was giving you the score. Nonetheless, the margin there is 31 points, 88-57. Demons in front. 16 minutes of playing time left in that game.
Rowell in the thick of things again. Hands it back to the umpire. Now Hall soccers it forward. Higgins coming up from half forward. Back into congestion. We'll have another stoppage. We're still only just outside the centre circles. 51 plays, 28 here under the roof. 23 gone second term. Suns with a comfortable lead.
23 points the lead after it was a 3-goal lead at quarter time for them. Noble defensive side of the stoppage. Picks up for the Suns, middle of the ground. Kicks to half forward. Wilkie spoils away from Long. But Long butters up. Gets over the ball. Has a fumble. Sinclair comes through. Was he taken high? No. Tackle is effective and fair by Fiorini. And an umpire comes in to call the ball up. Left half forward for the Suns. Quickly thrown in the air. Witts and Marshall tangle. Witts wins possession. Nudges it to the boundary, hoping for Anderson. Couldn't get there. Windhager does and runs it out of play. For a throw in. Saints in the right back pocket. Not a huge crowd in for this one. Busy day, busy weekend for the attendance here. They had to double up yesterday in 2 games, and it's a 3rd game for the weekend. And as expected, the surface looks great though. It must be said. No one was underneath the boundary throw-in, so Zach Jones was able to receive a hand pass, gives it off to Wilkie, clearance for the Saints, kicks it to the wing, but no one's there. Jeffrey leads the race, Hill running with him, Hill provides enough pressure, Jeffrey taps it over without intent to keep the ball in.
Brilliant from Brad Hill.
Free kick to the Saints, great effort, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was 30 metres behind as that ball was kicked, and he just busted his backside to get there and put some pressure on, and Jeffrey collapsed in the moment.
Hill goes short to Sinclair, right on centre wing.
Now he's having a spell, Brad Hill, because he's cooked.
Libba got him the other week here under the roof, so not sure Libba would have been able to keep up with him on that occasion. Suns turn it over. Now to Long. He's got Walter running into space. Inside attacking 50. Oh, he dropped the mark. And then this is absolutely deliberate for the second time in a row. Caminiti just smashed it out of bounds. 55 from goal.
Just they get a chance to get some numbers back. Slow the game down a little.
Well, it didn't help because Miller goes very short. And Flanders takes the mark. He is 40 from goal and probably about 10 metres inside the boundary in the right forward pocket.
This is the same spot.
Yeah,
he didn't get the journey last time, so smartly he realises he's very quick to be aware of his deficiencies and chips in field rather than going for goal. Tuke Miller's there, the old captain, to present and take the mark.
Can we have a shot of Rossline's box now? That's just players switching off late in the quarter.
What have we got? About 3.5 minutes playing time left, Nathan. So 23 points is the lead to the Suns. Miller 45 degrees to the right. Man on the mark about 40 from goal. Tuke Miller with his right boot. We're right behind it. It's a great finish. And another goal for Gold Coast. 3 in a row for the Suns. After Europe got back to 10 points. The last 3 goals won in the game scored by the Gold Coast Suns. So it's now a 29-point lead for the visitors. Tuke Miller's got his first of the afternoon. 9-3-57. Leads 4-4-28. 26.5 second term.
I wonder if the rotation of Bradley Hill when he came off after that fantastic chase just caught the Saints out a bit. That quick transition just beyond where he came off was there's a big gap left, and the Suns had an extra player there just for 5 seconds. But that's enough to get the overlap and the leapfrog effect, and that's effectively what happened. Walter made a mess of it, and Caminiti gave him the ball back with that deliberate out of bounds. But the timing of your substitutions and your rotations is very, very important in general play.
Back in the middle. Marshall went down in front of him, but again, Humphrey there for the Suns. Wonderful tackle, Windhager. He just shrugged him off amazingly, Bailey Humphrey. Sprung to his feet, got the hand pass away to Miller. And now off to Yuland, who pulls the trigger from 55. It's across the face of goal. Oh! Off the outside of the palm and then juggling the mark is Reed.
Caminiti can't believe it.
That's an extraordinary take.
That is very, very impressive from a big man of that level of coordination, as much as anything else.
So, Ethan Reed, right forward pocket. He's not more than 15 out from goal here. He's going to try and hook it round on the left. Here he comes, and he sprays it across the face. In fact, it's going to land just inside the boundary and smashed over for a boundary throw in next to the left behind post. Gold Coast 9-3-57. Euro 4-4-28. 28 minutes gone.
He's practiced that shot. It looked like it's the first time he's ever done it.
Yeah, not many.
Now, there's just a little committee going on between boundary, field and goal umpire to make sure that they've got
comparing mustaches, those guys.
The score right. What do you reckon, straight out of 1974, Berkey?
Exactly.
They are good.
The old solo men. It's boundary umpires these days.
Ball tossed in with the Suns in attack. Clean possession to Witts. No. Oh, well, he's tackled by Marshall, so stoppage in the forward pocket. Lex on the boundary.
Max Hall from St Kilda is just having some work done on the side of his foot. Got a few doctors around him at the moment. We'll keep an eye on it.
Okay, thank you. A man who was picked up in the draft this time last year. What is it? Is it Wednesday that the mid-season draft is on? Hearing stories that Essendon has got a game on Thursday night, and they might want to get guys that they pick up on Wednesday play against the Lions at the Gabba on Thursday, which would be
there's a fairy tale.
That would be amazing if that comes off. Saints with the clearance from the stoppage in the right back pocket. Wilson's under pressure, just got it to his toe. No great effect though. Ball on the 50, attacking end for the Suns. Humphrey takes it. He's tackled. Ball up. Saints just trying to hold tight here. Late in this term, Suns have kicked the last 3 goals in the game. 29 points to lead to Gold Coast.
Yeah, 5 goals down is where they need to be at halftime. They cannot give up a late one here.
Witts tried to reach over the top. He got it in the end. Hand pass to Anderson. Outside of attacking 50 by hand to Jeffrey. Pokes the pass. Swallow. Should have absolutely eaten that. He didn't. Straight through the hands. Sinclair there for the Saints. Off to Wangani Miller, who has a fumble. Long kick around the boundary. In fact, it's into the third row. So this is going to come straight back inside attacking 50. 57 plays 28. Dying stages of the second term.
just from a pure broadcast and selfish point of view, Berkey, they shouldn't be allowed to do that. We've got to have a look at them before we got to call them. Can't pick someone up on Wednesday and then have them play on Thursday. It's not fair on the commentators.
These days, all the country games are streamed.
Yeah.
Oh,
You'll be able to find someone somewhere, even if they're out at
That's all right. We'll pick them up.
Red Legs or...
Yeah, that's right.
Red Legs.
Red Legs. Jeffrey, he's at left half forward. He decides to kick backwards and infield to Collins. Gives it to Andrew near the bullseye. Chips over the man on the mark, and Ainsworth takes the grab. He's 65 from goal, centre half forward or thereabouts. Kicks inside 50. Wood gets in the holdo for the Saints and takes the mark.
Hard to find your own play when you've got 18 St Kilda players inside their defensive 50.
Wood kicks to left half back. Filippo takes the grab, wants to play on quickly for Yoroke. Kicks along the broadcast wing. Owen's the target, and he marks in front of Powell. Kick and a half from goal. Wheels inboard from the boundary. Pulls his kick to the pocket. Andrew gets in the way of the lead of Sharman. And Mac Andrew there in the time of need to take the mark for the Suns.
Looks pretty good off the boot, but Andrew getting into the right position at the right time. Suns work it to the outer side. Close, he has a bounce. Hand pass over the top to Hewland. He just has to pause. There's no options we're presenting. Goes inboard to Miller. Now off to Anderson. Back inboard. Rioli. His kick is smothered. Nice turnover here by the Saints. Filippo to Windhager. This is all by hand. Defensive side of the centre circles. Now to Steele. Out wider. Just sits for Burns, but just cost him a bit of time. He has to absorb the tackle. We'll have a stoppage right on the logo of 50.
It's a good outcome for the Saints.
Yes.
Choose some time off.
Ball to be tossed up. Rutland make their way over. Marshall over the top, down to Anderson. He's wrapped up straight away. Umpire says he'll have it. They've made a couple of metres territory inside attacking 50, the Saints.
And there's not much time left in the quarter. Umpire tosses it up, and before it even touches the ruckman's hands, we get the end of the term and the end of the half at Docklands, the last game of the Sir Doug Nicholls rounds. The Saints tried to stay relevant in this 2025 season, having only won one of their last 5, 4 wins, 6 losses, and hosting the Suns today. They go to half-time in deficit by 29 points. Gold Coast 7-2. And looking to win at this venue against this opponent for just the second time in 9 starts. It hasn't been a happy hunting ground for the Gold Coast playing St Kilda at Docklands, but they've turned an 18-point quarter-time lead into a 29-point half-time lead. Gold Coast 9 goals, 3-57, lead Yoroke 4 goals, 4-28. Ben Long's kicked 3 goals for the Suns, 2 goals for Ben Ainsworth. And there are 4 singles to Walter, Holman, Miller and Closey. While for the Saints, 2 of the 4 kicked by Cooper Sharman. The others to Mitch Owens and Nasiah Wanganeen Millera. 18 points the lead at quarter time for the Suns. Now a 29-point lead at half-time with Gold Coast kicking 5 goals, 1 in the second quarter to Yoroke's 3 goals, 2. Dan Harford and Nathan Burke with you on Sunday Footy on ABC Sport to tell you how we've got here after the first half. Dan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, well, the problem for the Saints, Berkey, is if the Gold Coast kick another 9 goals, they can't win the game.
No.
18 goals, you don't lose too many games. So they've got to find a way to limit the scoreboard impact of the Gold Coast Suns. Hybrid forwards, really. It's not the big blokes that are doing the damage. It's the hybrids that are having all the answers here. Long and Ainsworth, and Miller's obviously hitting up. Holman had that cheap goal in the first quarter. But they're the ones that are causing the trouble. They're defending the keys really well, but robbing Peter to pay Paul perhaps on some of the other avenues to goal for the Gold Coast Suns. I think they've done a great job, the Saints, in winning the clearance battle, or getting the clearance battle so even. Contested possessions are pretty even. And without Jack McRae, that was always going to be a challenge today, I thought. So they've stepped up in that regard and given themselves a chance. And as we've talked about a few times, and you mentioned the handball chains throughout second term a couple of times, their ability to transition the ball has been quite impressive. They just can't finish.
No, I just wrote down here, the game is being played like it's a bit of a shootout. Through the middle, there's no slow play. They're not really slowing the game. They're trying to. Both teams are trying to get the ball inside 50. It's just that one team is finishing and getting some easy finishes. So 2 chest marks to Ben Long there, ended in goals. A 50-metre penalty we saw in that first quarter. A free to Holman, sort of holding him so he can't get in the play. There's at least 4 to 5 goals that the Saints have just really coughed up from the goals that they shouldn't. So both teams are playing like a shootout, but not really being effective inside forward 50. There's the age-old question of who's the best King brother. Well, neither of them have had a possession today.
One's not playing.
Don't ruin a good story with the facts, too.
So the Saints are quite happy with the one that they chose because he's had as many possessions as the one who's playing. But I think Cal Wilk has done an outstanding job on big Ben King down there. Just really hasn't been a factor of getting to the contest, but it's been the other tall players that have probably been carrying the load there as well. Through the middle, as you mentioned, it's a bit of a scramble, the clearances. Both teams have got some bulls in there with Windhager and Rao and sort of going head-to-head and Steele in there as well. So it's a bit of a bruising encounter in there, but Saints, luckily for them, having the slightly better of that because they struggle to get the ball really from deep in their back line to the other end of the ground. So if they can win that clearance, get the ball at least going their way to start with, they're okay. And they do look pretty dangerous when Sharman and Higgins get a lot of space to work in. When it's closed down and they have to kick the ball to a contest, they're not going to be able to take a contested mark down there. So it's being able to get that ball into open space. That's the only way they're going to get back into this game.
Nathan Burke and Daniel Harford, our experts at Docklands. Thank you, gentlemen. Half-time here, Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Gold Coast lead Euroke by 29 points. That scoreline again, Suns 9-3-57 to the Saints 4-4-28. At the MCG, Nam, the Demons, set for victory against the Swans. Kicked another one. So that score's just gone off the screen. But Harry Sharp's kicked a goal. 16-17, 113 to 10-4-64. The Demons might be back in this season. 16-17, 113 to the Swans, 10-4-64. Earlier today, Crows by 11 goals over the Eagles. And there was a fair bit of talk in the game between Freo and Port Adelaide last night about an incident involving the Walyalup skipper Alex Pearce. Well, he has received a 3-match suspension for rough conduct on Darcy Byrne-Jones. That was graded careless, severe and high. So the Dockers captain Alex Pearce has been offered a 3-match suspension for that rough conduct on Darcy Byrne-Jones of last night. And as far as across town at the MCG, any kind of MRO news, well, I think Cal Mills, who has had a bit of a rough run, just being a regular part of the Swans team of recent times for a number of different reasons. There was a high bump on Charlie Spargo of the Demons in that game, and Spargo was subbed out. So Mills' first game back for the season involved in a flashpoint there. So that might be another area where the match review officer brings us a story or two. The NRL game is over at Mount Smart Stadium, and Ricky's Raiders continue to impress in 2025. A big win for Canberra over the Warriors. Raiders 16, Warriors 10. It's the only game of the Sunday of this round in the National Rugby League, and a bridged round ahead of Wednesday night's first State of Origin game, which you can hear across the country on ABC Sport via local radio, via digital radio, via the Listen app. Lang Park, the Cauldron, the home, the birthplace of State of Origin football, will host Game 1 in 2025, where the Maroons will start their quest to try and win back the Shield from the Blues. New South Wales winning the decider there last year. So make sure you put that in your calendar. Wednesday night, ABC Sport bringing you every moment of Origin 1 2025. Here, halftime at Docklands. It's Gold Coast leading Euroke by 29 points. We'll be back for the second half after a trip to the newsroom.
ABC News, I'm Tanmaya Navada. Police have arrested 2 people after a fight and reported stabbing at a Melbourne shopping centre, forcing the complex into lockdown. Joshua Allen reports.
Police say emergency services were called to the Northland shopping centre in Preston about 2:30 after reports of 2 groups of people fighting, some of them armed with knives. The incident plunged the centre into lockdown. Ambulance Victoria says one man's been taken to the Royal Melbourne Hospital with upper body injuries in a serious but stable condition. Police say they believe the incident was targeted and the parties are known to one another and are interviewing 2 men they arrested at the scene. The shopping centre will remain in lockdown as police continue their investigation.
Officials say more than 400 properties on the New South Wales mid-north coast have been deemed uninhabitable as residents and crews start to assess flood damage. Larry Buttrose reports.
Residents have started to return to their homes as authorities downgrade emergency warnings to watch and act. There are no evacuation warnings in place still, and no emergency warnings remain either across the state's mid-north coast. The State Emergency Service says there are 70 strike teams helping residents, and recovery assistance hubs have been set up in Taree, Maxville, Kempsey and Port Macquarie. As residents plead for more support with the clean-up, authorities are promising help is on the way.
New South Wales farmers say the impact of the floods is devastating. Dairy farmer Gary Eitzman says his production has been halved since the rain started falling in March, but his flood event has him reeling.
It's not good. It's a big hit. More than likely buy hay in and buy fodder in, probably run the mulcher over it all and start again. Oh, it's very costly, but that's just what you got to do.
Also in the news today, a 400-kilometre walk across country is underway as the Deputy Chair of Australia's first formal Truth-Telling Commission carries on the legacy of historic Indigenous leaders. Olivia Sanders has the details.
About 300 people have joined Uruk Justice Commissioner Travis Lovett on the first day of his 400-kilometre walk across country. Beginning in the southwest Victorian town of Portland this morning, the Walk for Truth will span 25 days ahead of the Commission handing down its final report next month, which will detail the official record of the impact of colonisation on First Nations people in Victoria. Commissioner Lovett says First Nations people have been walking on country for more than 60,000 years and have a long history of walking in protest. He will end his walk at Parliament House in Melbourne.
The WA government says employment in Western Australia's mining industry reached a new peak last year. According to the government's figures, there were more than 135,000 full-time equivalent positions in 2024, making it the 8th consecutive year employment has grown in the sector. Mines and Petroleum Minister David Michael says resources like iron ore, lithium and nickel remained major contributors to on-site mining employment.
WA jobs remains the Cook government's top priority, and the state's resource sector continues to be the backbone of our state's economic strength.
Overseas state media in North Korea are reporting 3 people have been detained after a naval ship launch accident earlier this week. The failed launch crippled the 5,000-ton warship in front of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, who had vowed to punish those responsible. The chief engineer of the shipyard where the vessel was built, the head of a construction workshop and an administrative manager have all been detained. Ecuadorian President Daniel Noboa has been sworn in for a second term following last month's elections. The ceremony in the capital, Quito, was attended by US Health Secretary Robert Kennedy, as well as the presidents of Colombia and Peru and several other international delegates. In his inauguration speech, Mr. Noboa vowed to save his country by continuing his war against drug traffickers and criminal gangs.
This is not a fight against ordinary crime. It is a direct confrontation with organised criminal structures equipped with funding, weapons and clear objectives to destabilise the state and subject society to fear.
And in sport, Melbourne City's AFC Women's Champions League soccer campaign has ended after losing the final on penalties away to Chinese club Wuhan Jiangda. Playing in their first ever continental final, City took the lead through Shelby McMahon in the 76th minute. 2 late VAR interventions allowed Wuhan to equalise and eventually triumph 5-4 in the shootout. City's captain Rebecca Stott was named MVP of the competition. You're up to date with the latest on ABC News.
Any plans that survived were destroyed. They were burned to cover up the story.
Join me, Mark Fennell, as I discover some of history's craziest turning points in my brand new podcast, No one saw it coming. On the ABC Listen app.
Hello, Patrick Stack here. Do you like sport and good conversation? Then we've got a great podcast for you. One cracking story, in depth, every day, in under 15 minutes. It's called ABC Sport Daily, and you can find it on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Won the 50-50, Burns over the top, in front of Owens, gets to 60, pulled the kick, intelligent stuff, should get the 1-2, Sharman ignored it and said, I've got this anyway. He kicks his first after a couple of missed opportunities early.
Witt's got a kick out of that bounce, and it's gone inside 50. Long reads the drop and takes the mark. No great creativity about that. Just a big man getting it on his boot. He'll kick from about 48. Knows this venue well. He's kicked another against his old team. Ben Long continues his outstanding season. Right on halfway. Quick hand pass to the running Wood. Chips to half forward. Steele marks. Hands to Jones. Hand pass to the corridor for Wanganeen Miller in the jersey he designed. He kicks a brilliant running goal for Euro in the final instalment of Sir Doug Nicholls' round. Oh, that was beautiful stuff. And one for the highlight reel. And off the side of the boot, Noble's kick to attacking 50 falls in the lap of Ben Long. Now this for a 23-point lead. Long of just a couple of steps.
Right.
And he's got it. That's another for the Suns. It just carries the pack on the goal line. 3 goals for Ben Long against his old mob. Touk Miller with his right boot. We're right behind it. It's a great finish. And another goal for Gold Coast. 3 in a row for the Suns.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
It's the final game of the Sir Doug Nicholls rounds under the roof at Docklands. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Quentin Hull with you, along with Andrew Mays, Nathan Burke, Dan Harford and Alexia Pesha. It's Gold Coast against Euroke, the Suns and the Saints to complete round 11. And it's Gold Coast leading by 29 points at half-time. The Suns 9-3, 57 over the Saints 4-4, 28. It was an 18-point lead for the visitors at quarter-time, so they extended in that second term, looking to win just their second game against the Saints at Docklands in 9 starts. It hasn't been a happy hunting ground or head-to-head matchup for them. And St Kilda has won 9 of the last 10 encounters against the Suns. For one reason or another, St Kilda has had the wood on Gold Coast, but the Suns, with designs on their 8th win of the season, will go into the second half with a lead, the best part of 5 goals, 29 points that margin. Recapping earlier today, the Crows 11 goals to the good of the Eagles, 66 points the final margin at the Adelaide Oval. Crows 19-14, 128 to the Eagles, 8-14, 62. At the MCG, Nam not far away from sealing victory over Sydney. They lead by 10 goals. Wow. 10 goals is not a good margin for the SCG, for the Swans at the MCG, because that was the margin in the grand final last year. 3 minutes to go. Nam 18-17, 125. Sydney get one back. 11 goals, 571. But the Demons certainly looking like they've found a bit of form. Good win on the road against the Lions last week. And the stuttering Swans find themselves in a fair bit of trouble to even make September in 2025. So keep your messages coming on the SMS 0437 774 774.
Any crispy potato recipes?
Oh, here we go. Dan's
crispy roast potato recipes.
We've had some excellent texts around lamb roasts and spring
lamb
rolls.
racks.
Sunday evening.
Stroganoff.
I must admit, I did try one of the provided vegetable pasties. I had 2 bites. You never look a gift horse in the mouth, but after reading out all of those texts at half times, Berkey just didn't match up.
I was happy with the temperature of them this week.
Yeah.
Normally they blow your face off and you can't talk for the second half, but they were a bit raw point today. Good work out the back.
That's very good from you.
Saints have emerged. Suns are out there as well. What can change in this footy game? And en route to those thoughts, Berkey and Dan, here are some numbers for the Suns. Tuke Miller has got 17 possessions. Joel Jeffrey with 15, Noah Anderson 14. Top 3 for the Saints, Wanganeen Miller are 18, Steele 16 and Sinclair 12. The overall disposals +6 to the Suns. The inside 50s are +9 to the Suns. Clearances +1 to the Suns. And tackles +9 to Gold Coast as well. So leading all the main stats, really, and the one that counts, the scoreboard, 29 points to the good.
Yeah, I mean, they're a better team. We talked about this at the start of the game. It was a matter of what St Kilda were going to try and do to eliminate their strengths or weaken their strengths, and they haven't really been able to do that. I have been impressed. I like the plan in transition. I like the way they want to stretch the ground and make it really big and catch the Suns defenders out from that front. I quite like that. It's working okay to a point, up to about half forward. But then it breaks down a bit. So they've got a capacity to move the ball against the Gold Coast through the middle of the ground. They just haven't got the killer blow at the moment. And if we keep getting opportunities like the Gold Coast have had through that first half in the corridor in front of goal from their hybrid forwards, the half forwards and the smalls, then it's going to be a long day. The bigs haven't had a look yet, haven't even looked like it really. So if they ever get into gear, Berkey, it might be trouble.
Exactly. And the smalls for the Saints, Jack Higgins, 28 goals. Coming third in the Coleman this year, hasn't really had a look in at all. He's done some good things bringing the ball to ground, but that's not what he's there for. So hopefully for the Saints, if they're going to get back into this game, he's one guy that has to start hitting that scoreboard. But interesting quote, Quentin. You'll like this one from Ross Lyon before the game. He was interviewed and it was asked about the talent in the Suns list, and he described them as, yes, they're very talented, the AFL Nepo baby.
Oh, he didn't say that.
He did. Called them the AFL Nepo baby. So whether that just came from, well, I'm probably thinking he's looking at Ben Long, he's kicked 3 goals and his team's only kicked 4, but this was before the game. Wow. So he preempted that one.
Well, no doubt that will be picked up by everyone, and the topic of the multitude of footy shows that we have on a Monday night.
Yes.
Depending on the margin here. Well,
tell us what you really think, Ross. What's behind that one, I wonder?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Ross doesn't say anything that isn't calculated.
Well,
or deflecting.
That did go through my mind.
He's good at
Daniel.
that.
Yeah,
he's a master at that one.
He's the modern day Kevin Sheedy when it comes to that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, all the you think of back where the Suns are up in Queensland. Wayne Bennett was a master of that as well, and still is. So let's see how the Nepo baby goes. 29 points to the good, starting the second half, Maisie.
So it's Witts to Rowell and then to Anderson, who bangs them inside, attacking 50. Flanders, no mark at ground level. Walter fights hard, squirted out a hand pass. It was tapped away there from Reid, and then a free kick is going the way of Sinclair. He's doing some nice work at ground level. Sees the outlet straight away. It's Filippo, who presents on defensive 50, takes the mark. Settles things down around the boundary line to Wood. He goes short further afield and finds Steele. Steele chips back inboard to Travalia. And he's going to go back to centre half back, where Caminiti now has it. Switch was on early if he wanted it. He didn't take it, so he goes short back to Travalia, who's at left half back. 60 out from his defensive goal line. Hill presents. Wanganeen Miller, if he wants to pull the trigger in the middle, that's ignored. Goes wider to the boundary, and everyone left it in the end. No one could take the mark, and then diving over the top and locking it in is Burns. So we'll have a ball up in between wing and left half forward here for St Kilda. They trail by 29 points. Minute played, third term.
Give that one to Witts over Marshall at tap time. Windhager shrugged off the clearance though. Ricochets to Bailey, and the Suns will get clear. Hand pass to Anderson. Kicks from the wing to a pack and half forward. Knuckled back towards the wing. Bailey's there. That's Bailey Humphrey along with Steele. He can't keep it in. And a boundary throw in. Humphrey game 50. Andrew game 50. A couple of mini milestones for the Suns. Lexia Pesha on the boundary.
You talk about Ross being calculated. During the week I was at his press conference and I said, how do you beat the Suns, Ross? And he said, you kick more goals than them. That's aged well, hasn't it, Ross?
Shots fired. How good's this?
Buster Closey from the clearance. High kick. It'll land inside 50. Punched away from long. Marshall tried the quick hand pass. Missed his target. Anderson there to sweep up for the Suns. Off to Noble. Floater inside 50. No mark taken again. Rioli goes to defend. Got past one. Hand pass to Fiorini. Now the last act. And it's a short pass and it bounced off Reed's chest. Very low to the ground.
Bad pass.
And they try and hold things up here. O'Connell. Ball spurting around a bit. It does fall free. Back to Fiorini, to Ainsworth. Now to Rioli. One dummy. Second dummy. Gets inside 50. Hand pass to Fiorini. Up against the boundary line. Short kick, not marked. Saints have numbers. Hand pass back into congestion though. Anderson, or Humphrey rather, is the tackler. And he locks things up. 20 out directly in front. All a bit messy, that last passage of play. Lex downstairs.
He was lovely about it, though, and he had a little laugh. Just want to add that in there.
I'm glad.
Don't go softening now, Lex.
Wanganeen Miller at fullback, Robes the tap. Deep in defence for the Saints, has a bounce and gets them out of trouble. A long kick from the pocket towards the wing on the head of Owens, fisted away by Andrew, out of play for a boundary throw-in. Early stages, second half here. No change to that half-time score. Gold Coast leading by 29 points.
No real changes to the positioning of either team coming out after half-time. Ben King sitting on the bench with Took Miller.
Witts, great service down to Humphrey. Shrugged off it though by Windhager, whose kick is smothered. Ricochet though ends up in the hands of the Saints. Phillippo and Clark combine. Gets to half forward. Wood, the next man in the chain. Pulls the trigger from 50. He misses. Misses to the right, Mason Wood. It's a behind. 28 points the lead to the Suns.
Yeah, good run chain handball there from the Saints. I think if they're going to get back into this game, that has to be a really dominant part of their game.
Short kick to Anderson, and then further afield to Noble outside of a defensive 50. Left half back. He goes very short. It was intercepted by Owens. 60 from goal. Waiting for the runners to come. He goes long instead to the top of the square. Sharman the flyer almost from behind. Anderson was waiting front and centre. Hand pass is a little dicey for Closey, but he's able to gather. He got it to Collins. Now to Noble. Now under pressure. Force kick comes out. Owens, one grab and the second. Did nicely in that contest to nudge his opponent away from the footy. Owens to reload inside attacking 50. This is the money kick. It comes off the instep. It might work in the end, and it does. Still marks almost uncontested. 40 out directly in front.
Well, luck's a fortune sometimes. That was a shank kick off the inside of his right boot, but luckily Steele was standing right in the corridor, 40 out dead in front. But so good repeat entries.
It was perhaps his target, Burns, who was probably another 15 metres further afield. But
I hope he wasn't trying to kick to Ryan Burns inside.
No. Well, he was the only one there behind that contest. Anyway, it's a little straighter with Jack Steele, who trots in from 45. Kick is straight. Does it have enough? Absolutely. And the Saints get the all-important first goal of the second half. Something to build on for the Saints. 5-5-35 plays 9-3-57. Ticking over 5 minutes in this third term.
They've owned the forward half in this early stages of the third quarter, really. They've been able to get it in, lock it in, have repeat entries. Now, that's not by design, that little 4 inch inside forward 50 there from Owens, but you've still got to give yourself the chance by getting the ball back in good areas. They've been able to do that a few times here, the Saints.
So Jack Steele with his first goal of the afternoon, just 2 for the year, and just what Yoroke needed at the early stages of this third term. Welcome to the Docklands for the closing stages of Sir Doug Nicholls' rounds. Quentin Hull and the team in place for Yoroke. The Saints taking on Gold Coast. Just started this third term. Jack Steele's kicked a goal to narrow what was a 29-point half-time lead for the Suns, back down to 22 points. Centre bounce here as Anderson gets a clearance for the Suns out towards the forward line. Wilkie gets a push in the back, or the mark. Mark paid for the Saints defender. Quentin Hull, along with Andrew Mays, Dan Harford, Nathan Burke and Alexa Pescia to take you through the final phases of this round 11. following the 11-goal win for the Crows earlier today in that 53-point victory for the Demons over the Swans at the G. Bit of the storyline of this one in a moment. Clark there for the Saints as they run it to half forward. Hand passes to Steele, gives it on to Burns. Chips inside 50. Powell's there though for the Suns to take the mark. He's in the right back pocket. Gold Coast leading by 18 points at quarter time and 29 points at half time. The Suns have had the better of this one, but just haven't broken the Saints as yet, matey.
Powell runs the boundary line, then a long kick out of defence up towards the wing. Oh, one-hander plucked in the middle of that pack by Jared Witts.
Not sure he knew how he did that.
No. Sort of trotted back to the top of his mark and handed it off to Jeffrey, who went to Closey by hand. Long, high kick. Good luck marking that inside 50. Walter threw himself at it anyway. Miller front and centre, taken in a big, strong tackle. It was a game tackle. 3 Saints, and there might be a bit of collateral damage out of that too. Clark gets to his feet, which is good news, and Webster's rubbing his nose as he accepts the free kick.
Now Jimmy Webster in the left back pocket for the Saints. Now Ben Long's kicked 3 goals for the Suns. Cooper Sharman's got a couple for the Saints as Steele receives the pass at left half back. Plays on with a kick to the middle of the ground. Sinclair marks for the Saints. Kick to half forward. Burns grabs it. 60 out. Plays on. Kicks to full forward and a 2-on-2. Sharman a 2-grabber. He's paid the mark. 30 metres out. Slightly right of centre.
Well, the holes are starting to open up there a little bit from the Suns' defence. That was just far too easy ball movement, and they've done it probably 3 or 4 times already this quarter, using their feet initially, and then once they get the ball over the middle, using their hands to get that ball inside 50. So Dimmer will not be happy with that level of attention to their zoning.
So as mentioned, a couple of goals already for Cooper Sharman. This for the first 2 in the third quarter for the Saints. Good kick from 40. Oh, it hits the post. To the left side of the major opening, a behind. 21 points is the lead to the Suns.
It's his second one of those, I think.
That's an opening.
2 goals, 3 for the afternoon for Cooper Sharman. From defence, the Suns come away through Noble. Long kick around the boundary line. Big fist from Sinclair and out of bounds.
Dan, Berkey, for those just joining us, tell us the flow of the play to this point.
Well, it's been a pretty open game all the way through that first half. Transition up and back, no lockdown. We thought Ross Lyon might have tried to lock this game down like they did last year when they beat the Gold Coast Suns, but it's been pretty free-flowing. The Suns have had better entries inside their forward half, and they've been a bit scared, the Saints defenders, because of their height, and their smalls have got to work and kicked the majority of their goals. So that's been the difference in the game at the moment. Saints have been pretty good. It's game on here still. They can get the set shots right. They're back in this.
Rail over halfway, mark taken by Keeler, who look inboard. Oh, it's a high kick, just for that second, which would have caused Saints supporters just to hold their breath. Webster takes the mark though. Was looking across the face of goal, still looking there. The options open up, and it is Wilkie who's called to play on. Has to go quickly. Turnover ball now. Outside attacking 50. King onto it. Hand pass to Rowell. Inside attacking 50. He goes with the kick. Caminiti did all the hard work but dropped the mark. Webster comes in to swoop up in defence. Low piercing ball. Steele attacking it nicely was Closey from behind. Steele smothered. Then the hand pass around the boundary line to Sinclair is good. He goes inboard. Winhager beeline the footy and attacked it nicely. Gained about 15 metres into congestion, and we will have a ball up. Now right half forward here for the Suns, who've looked a little messy going inside attacking 50 in this third term.
I agree with that. I reckon they're too narrow. Their forwards are set up too narrow, too close to each other. I'd love to see some more separation and really isolate these Saints defenders one-on-one.
Jones extricates the clearance. Hand pass in tight to Filippo. Gives to Travalia. Hands it to Hill. Saints run to the middle of Docklands. Hill's kick to right half forward at the boots of Wilson. He's nudged off it by Powell. Wilson follows up to make the tackle as Powell gathers the footy. No prior. But a great job from Wilson to force the neutral on right half forward for the Saints.
Did a great job just to hold his feet. He's running flat out, bending over, got a shove from behind, but didn't go to ground, which enabled him to lay the tackle, keep the ball inside their forward 50.
Witts taps down for the Suns to Fiorini. Hand pass clear of the congestion. Miller gathers on left half back for Gold Coast. Hand pass to Anderson. From old skipper to new skipper. Kicks to half forward. Long taps down to the roving Walter. Usually it's the other way around. Walter keeps it alive. He taps it infield and then Long tunnel balls it. Flips it infield to Humphrey. Tackled by Travalia. Holding the ball.
And Well done.
I'd like to see that cover ball again.
Yes.
It's shot out the back like a...
It was
grenade.
innovative, that's for sure, but Travaglia with the tackle on Humphrey, and the Saints have got it at half-back. Transfers to the left half-back flank. Sinclair marks in space, kicks to the wing. Wilson takes the grab, plays on, hand passes poor though, was hoping for Hill, went nowhere near him. Closey closest to it. Wins the ball for the Suns. Dan likes the kick, so does Flanders. He marks it in space in the bullseye. Hands to Miller. Deep entry on the head of Walter. He marks it 20 metres out in the left forward pocket. And but for Wilson's handball on the wing, Daniel Harford. It was all good until then.
Yeah, they've used the width of this stadium magnificently, the Saints, in transition. It's always open side. Someone gets to the absolute edge of centre wing every time to get forward. Then they've got runners for forward positions, but their handball was a disaster. And the quick turnover happened. Saints defenders were caught out on the way through. The ball back in to Fiorini in the middle of the ground was the thing that changed the game. Set the whole forward 50 up for Jed Walter to get it back into.
Tightish angle in the left forward pocket. 30 out for the young key forward. He leaves it near side with the set shot. A behind to Jed Walter. Gold Coast lead by 22 points. 9-4-58 to Yoroks 5-6-36. Just repeating that final score at the G if you've just tuned in. The Ds with two in a row. 19-17, 131 over the Swans 12-6-78.
He's got some things to work on in his routine, I reckon, Berkey. Walter, in his goal kicking routine. Looks off balance a lot.
The first score of this second half. And it's taken all of 13 minutes in this third term. Saints work at a half forward, but Collins there for the Suns. He's able to intercept. Attacking kick. Oh, it's over the head of Ainsworth. A chance inside attacking 50. Sinclair chip is a good ball. And then running past his Hill, accepts and misses.
Bradley.
Big chance. Big chance goes begging there for the Saints. Burns handed it off quickly. And he wastes that opportunity. 58 plays 37, 21 the margin in favour of the Gold Coast. 13 gone, third term.
Quick kick in and Noble finds space to mark on D50. Left half back for the Suns. Noble with his right boot. Kicks towards the interchange wing. Reed and Walter, the two Palm Beach Currumbin boys, they spoil each other in the pack. Goes to deck and is locked up. Young O'Connell's jumped on by Rowell.
A big bad miss there by Bradley Hill running inside 50. I would have liked some of the key Saints to just lead back at him. It would have been an easy mark, 10, 15 metres out though.
Owens did well. Clean possession, got rid of Reed at the stoppage. His rush kick to attacking 50s marked by Sharman.
Oh, give it to him.
Wangani Miller is the guy running by. He wanted the dish. No. Kicks in field. Good kick. Marked by Hunter Clark, 40 metres out directly in front.
And all the mids from the Gold Coast are back to 20, 25 metres out. Just
Clark hand passes to Wangani Miller. He gives it to him that time. Evades one, kicks on goal, has another miss to the left. Oh. So eventually Wangani Miller did get a Berkey, but he fluffs his lines there. It's a behind. Saints have started this third term well, kicking 1 goal forward to 1 behind. 20 points the lead to Gold Coast, 15 minutes played.
Yeah, we're 5 goals down at half time. 1 goal 4 is not going to cut it, especially the easy ones that they're missing. But Gold Coast here are just a little bit flummoxed. They're just bombing the ball out of their defensive 50 and it's coming back time and time again.
Noble to Miller and back to Noble. Humphrey at the ball, the ball dispossessed. He gathered the bouncing ball anyway and kept on going. Off to Rao. Kick inside 50. It's a deep entry. Oh, high fly King. Could have given the free kick away. Umpire wave play on. Hill back to Travaglia. Important kick this one. It's a good one as well. Burns is the outlet kick. He wants to poke it back inside. Jones with a good set of hands. Gives it to Hill and they're off again, the Saints.
Kicks it to the outer wing again. And they take the time to try and make sure they don't come unstuck this time. Wangani Miller receives, has a bounce, runs to 70, kicks inside 50 over the pack. Collins first to meet it though for the Suns. Hand passes to Noble, kicks it across the face of goal and Flanders takes the mark and just going to hold things up for a moment for the Suns.
Well, they've been forced from side to side with the ball movements of Kilda. They just need a chance to breathe here, the Suns. They're on the back foot.
Just a little flustered, aren't they, Daniel?
Yep.
And they just look a little bit tired. There's a lot of walking into position going on here now from the Suns.
Short pass given to Rowell, who's still deep in defence. Kicks it to the wing and a pack of players. Off hands Clark for the Saints. Hands to Travaglia. Oh, got taken high. That's a fortuitous call for the Saints because Travaglia's handball had been pinched. And it was maybe one of those technical yet softish free kicks. Nonetheless, Travaglia on the wing for the Saints. Kicks to attacking 50. Collins in front of Sharman to spoil down and rove his own crumb. He is playing wonderful footy this year, Sam Collins. Kicks it around the boundary. Humphrey marks not far away from Lexia Pesha.
Hugh Boxall from the Saints has just taken his jumper off. So the Saints are going to make their sub. I don't know who it's for just yet. I'll come back to you in a minute.
Keep an eye on that one for us. Now the Saints turn it over at half-back. Anthony Miller, a short kick, or it's just over the head there of Travaglia, and then he follows up with a good tackle on Humphrey. I thought he was out of bounds.
He was out of bounds.
And both boundary umpires have stared at each other and said, play on.
Oh, no, that's a bad call.
Surely that was out of bounds. Free kick for the Saints anyway. Lexia downstairs.
It's Darcy Wilson who'll come off, so he'll come off as the sub.
Yeah, hasn't had a big day today, Darcy, because he's been playing in the forward line for the majority of the game.
Saints have horseshoed out from right half back to left half back. Wanganeen Miller kicks to the wing. Wood takes the mark on halfway. Kicks to half foot over the head of Higgins. Out the back, Yuland for the Suns. Hands it to Miller. Hands it to Powley. Flips it over his shoulder. No one there. Burns almost intercepts for the Saints. Has a fumble. Andrew picks up. Is tackled immediately by Clark. And a stoppage at the edge of the centre square. Right half back for Gold Coast. Left half forward for Yoroke. It's the Suns leading by 20 points, but the Saints with the run of play here in this third quarter. Flanders comes through the stoppage. Great picker. Off the deck. Hand pass to Anderson. Kick to half forward. Ainsworth marks. 70 from goal. Runs forward. Lowers his eyes. Chips to Reid. Marks in the pocket. Plays on. Kicks infield to Humphrey. Takes the mark. 25 out straight in front. And in a mini milestone game in his 50th, Bailey Humphrey's got a chance to add a goal to his name and a much needed settler for his team.
I'm not sure Ross Lyon's listening to your observations, Berkey, in the coach's box at the Saints at the moment, looking at the fatigue that might be kicking into the Gold Coast Suns. Darcy Wilson can run all day.
Yeah.
He's only had 5 disposals. So that might be the reason they're pulling the trigger on that. But, geez, he's an animal aerobically. He can keep going all day long. Good intensity.
And this man was a part of the deal that got Isaac Rankin to Adelaide. Bailey Humphrey in his 50th. He's missed that to the right. Missed that to the right. And misses his moment to kick a goal in his 50th. 21 points the lead to the Suns. 9-5-59 to 5-8-38.
And this is a running game. The ball's not stopping. It's zipping from one end to the other. And it's if you can't run in this game, you're going to struggle. But we know Darcy Wilson can do that.
Short kick from Wanganeen Miller up to Wilkie. Back to Wanganeen Miller up. Oh, almost missed his target. All did well to squeeze the ball to the advantage of Webster, who shrugged the tackle, but then he's pushed out of bounds. We'll have a stoppage 60 around from the Suns' goal. Still yet to kick a goal, Mr. the Suns. Lexia downstairs.
It looks like the Suns are also going to make their sub. Who for? I'll come right back to you. So Malcolm Rosas looks like he's coming into the action.
Thanks for that, Lex. Right half forward for Gold Coast. Left half back for the Saints as the boundary up throws it in. Off hands, Holman can't pick up. Sinclair does for the Saints. Quick little hand pass through Hall on to Marshall. Grubbing kick to half forward. Goes underneath the feet of Owens and Collins. They follow up again. The big fella Collins goes to deck. Won the ball, got tackled. Turned over his hand pass. Stolen by Owens. Hand pass to Windhager. Chips it to right half forward to Wood. Under pressure. A scrubbing kick to the goal mouth. Higgins roves. Hand pass to Burns. Smothered by Powell. Good smother from Powell to the shot on goal. Ricochet ends up with Andrew. Gives it through. Jeffrey to Rioli by hand. Then to Anderson. His kick is turned over though to the middle of the ground. Windhager takes it for the Saints. Kicks to centre half forward. Philippine marks. Banks from 60. Hits the post. Hits the post to the left. It's a minor score. 20 points the margin. Yet again at Gold Coast 9-5-59 to Yoroke's 5-9-39. Jeffrey with a long inbound to left half back through the hands of Andrew. Picked up there by Rao. Gives it on to Miller. Kicks to half forward. Welcome to those on ABC Sport Digital joining Docklands. Suns and the Saints. It's the Suns by 20 points. Ball at left half forward. Ben Long's wrapped up here. Holding the ball to Rowan Marshall. Oh, for those just joining us, Quentin Hull, Andrew May, Stan Harford, and Nathan Burke and Lexia Pesha. It's Gold Coast 9 goals, 5-59 to Yoroke's 5-9-39.
Kick from Windhager is wide. Oh, good mark by Boxall. Diving low. Just got his hands underneath it takes it on the wing, right in front of Alexia Pesha.
So it's Ethan Reid who's come off. It's a tactical sub for the Gold Coast Suns.
Long kick up the line. Andrew in box seat here. And it spoiled away at the last moment. Doesn't work on the ground though. Bounces out of his hands. He tries to wrench it free from Hunter Clark. Can't quite do so. Umpire calls for it.
Well, technically this has upset the Saints too, because Keeler was back there playing on Ethan Reid. He looks behind now that there's really only short players down there. He's got no one to play on, so he's waving the arms around looking for instructions. So it's thrown the Saints defence out of whack as well, because they're just covering the talls.
No clearance from that original stoppage. Right half forward for the Saints, left half back for the Suns. Witts now under the second one. Does his own roving. Hand passes to Miller. Hands it on to Swallow. A veteran from the wing kicks to half forward, but Keeler gets in the way to take the mark. And 50-metre penalty against Malcolm Roses, who's just come into the game.
Not a good start.
And into the demilitarised zone. 50-metre penalty. That's skinny as well. Very skinny.
37 metres.
Keeler kicks across the centre square. Wilkie takes the mark, chips it forward. Hill's the next man on the chain. He's grabbed it. Kick and a half from goal, left half forward. Kicks back in field. Windhagen marks, 65 from goal. Bangs deep to full forward. Witts comes to the front of the pack, but there's a whistle before it arrives. St Kilda free kick to Owens.
This game has flipped on its head this quarter.
Yeah. Need to capitalise, Saints. They're dominating all around the ground, dominating inside 50s. Gold Coast have completely lost their way. The only thing that's not hurting the Suns is the scoreboard. 1-5, I think, this quarter.
So it was a little hold from Collins in that ruck contest.
They're just silly free kicks.
Gives Owens a chance. Slight angle right. He'll kick from only 30 metres out. He's already got a goal today, Mitch Owens. And he's missed it to the left badly.
Not even close.
Badly. It's a behind. 5 goals, 10-40. So what were they? They were 4-4, 5-1-6 in this quarter, the Saints.
And they inbound quickly as well. Long kick towards the wing. Andrew just had it spoiled away from him at the last moment. Burns to Hill. He backtracks by foot. Wanganeen Miller is there. Pulls the trigger. Risky kick. Got to Boxall on the bounce, and that's okay. Hand pass off to Jones. Now inside attacking 50. Mark is taken in the end by Sharman. He's pushed a couple of metres outside 50 as well. Now the money kick. What he's presenting for the Saints. He says, I'm having a shot. Umpire says, no, you're not. You can't make it. And then he runs into Noble on the mark. Helicopters it to the top of the square almost. No one marking that. And Andrew has it. Good defensive chest mark.
Alexia Pesha on the boundary.
Half. Well, how did Ross Lyon say we win? We beat the Suns?
More goals.
And what's happening?
They're not kicking more goals, Lex.
Taking them in small pieces at the moment. Ainsworth's got it at left half back for Gold Coast. Kicks it along the wing. And it's locked up at the bottom of the pack. And we'll see a bounce. So Suns by 18 points at quarter time, by 29 at half time. 1-6 for Yorokan this term. To the Suns, what have they got? 2 points. 19 the margin from the stoppage. Filippo for the Saints. A rush kick inside 50. Jeffrey reads it well. Must have taken a touch. Play on. Got a hand pass away before the three-quarter time siren. That was a 25-minute quarter.
I was just about to say, someone pressed the siren too.
What's going on?
So there was only 1 goal kick there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
1 goal 6. 1 goal 6 for the Saints.
And then 2 points for the Suns. So 1 goal 8 for the quarter.
Gold Coast.
I can't remember a 25-minute quarter.
No.
This is 1986.
So in the old days, what we had about 30 seconds of time on. Remember when we had the 25-minute quarters?
I was honestly surprised. I thought, that's gone too early.
That's what I thought.
You were looking at me as if to say, what's happened here?
So we can confirm that is three-quarter time.
Well, everyone's shorter games.
Yep. No, that's it.
We'll just stop kicking goals. That'll fix it.
Okay. Three-quarter time at Docklands. Gold Coast by 19 points. 1 goal 6 to 2 behinds in that term in favour of the Saints. Suns 9-5-59 to Yorokan's 5-10-40. The goal kickers for Gold Coast. Ben Long has 3 against his old team. Ben Ainsworth's got a couple. And single goals for Jed Walter, Nick Holman, Took Miller and Sam Closey. While for Yorokan, Cooper Sharman has 2 goals. Single goals for Wanganeen, Miller, Steele and Owens. So that progression again. Suns by 18 at quarter time. Suns by 29 at halftime. And now, as we turn for home, it's Gold Coast by 19 points at 9-5-59 to 5-10-40. Earlier today, Crows by 66, D's by 53. The Crows 19-14-128 over the Eagles 8-14-62 at the Adelaide Oval. Meanwhile, cross town at the G, Nam 19-17-131 over the Swans 12-6-78. So the Demons by 53 points, keeping their noses well and truly in the fight in 2025 with back-to-back wins. In the NRL earlier today, Canberra defeated the Warriors 16 points to 10. Only game in today's abridged round of the National Rugby League. And news from the MRO, Alex Pearce has been offered a 3-match suspension for the collision with Darcy Byrne-Jones in that game last night. It was graded careless, severe and high. There was a dumping tackle from Jai Newcomb on Jared Berry, and the Hawks lost to Brisbane at the G yesterday, but that's basically a fine for Newcomb. $6,000 fine if he takes the early guilty plea, but no suspension for Jai Newcomb.
What would you have given Pearce, Berkey, being a former MRO member?
I wouldn't have given him 3, but the table these days, the way that they score the impact, and that's been the result of, now that we've got concussions and you're out for 12 days. So that's one, absolutely, potentially 2 games. So because you're out for potentially 2 games, the person who causes the concussion has to be out longer than the person who's been concussed. So we've upgraded concussion now from high to severe, which is 2 to 3 weeks.
And Cal Mills just back into the Swans team. He was involved in an incident at the G, which will be looked at as well. 3/4 time at Docklands, Gold Coast by 19 points. You're hearing Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Get your footy fix live and ad-free with the ABC Listen app. Whatever footy you're after, we've got you covered. Called by ABC Sport's expert commentary team. ABC Sport's coverage of the footy on the ABC Listen app. The footy might stop with the final siren, but with ABC AFL, the conversation keeps rolling. Get ABC AFL Daily Podcast with Premiership coach Paul Roos alongside Corbin Middlemass, Ben Cameron and Poppy Penny.
From walking on thin ice to dancing on the mountaintop.
It's your daily footy conversation. Find it on the ABC Listen app. This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Jack Steele, who trots in from 45. Kick is straight. Does it have enough? Absolutely. And the Saints get the all-important first goal of the second half. Something to build on for the Saints.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Don't make them up if they're not there. At least there was one goal highlight to play from the action in the third term here. We've got half an hour to play here. Really important half an hour. I think particularly for Euro. Quentin Hull and Andrew Mays are calling the action. Daniel Harford and Nathan Burke, your experts. Alexia Pesha's on the boundary. And the Saints, who are battling to keep pace in the fight for the 8 in this 2025 season. Their form's been poor of recent times. They had that very good win over Fremantle, but outside of that, it's been a tough month for them. They had the better of that third quarter, but at 4-6, they turned for home, still 19 points behind a Gold Coast Suns team, which continues to roll well off the benefit, in the eyes of some, of a kind draw and maintaining their strong record in Darwin. They're 7-2, the Suns. This would be a huge step forward for Damien Hardwick's men if they could bank the 4 points here. It's the 9th time that the Suns have played the Saints at Docklands. They've only won one of those games. So St Kilda's had a dominant record over Gold Coast. They've won 9 of their last 10. Big half hour coming up. Berkey, Dan, what do you see?
What I loved about the Saints that quarter was they got their defensive structures really good, and especially around the contest. Even when Rowell and Anderson got their hands on the ball first from a stoppage, they were jumped on. And it was just a dump kick forward, and the Saints set up really well. They won that one. When the ball went in the Saints' forward line, if they didn't win it, the only exit strategy that the Suns had was to kick the ball long down the line. Again, their defensive structures were outstanding. So for me, the Saints got back into the game on the back of their defensive structures. The thing that let them down was their finishing, but what I did like was their ability to find short passes and then have that player play on. It wasn't short and then stop, short and then stop. A lot of them, especially on that far side, were short, roll on, get the ball quickly inside 50, which they're going to need to do because they won't be taking contested marks down there. They've got to get the ball inside 50 as quickly as they can. For the Suns, they just lost their way. They need to find their way again, get their running game going.
Final term, here's Andrew Mays.
In the middle. And then there's Anderson with the all-important hand pass. Oh, racing off half-back was Rioli. Dummy hand pass, linked up for the 1-2. Oh, knocked down. The all-important entrance inside 50. Rao becomes the tackler. It's locked up at centre-half forward here for the Suns. That ball was bound deep, was it not, for a St Kilda interception. Miller through his legs. Humphrey tries to spin out. Gathered the ball in the second attempt, but lost his footing, and ball locked to him. We'll have a stoppage. Still inside the centre square here at true centre-half forward.
Whitson, Marshall tangle. Marshall taps down, but straight to Anderson of Gold Coast. Rush kick towards full forward. Bounces awkwardly for Walter. Can't gather first time. Goes in again. Ineffective hand passes towed off the deck by the Saints defence. Only to Closey on attacking 50 for the Suns. Hands it to Jeffrey. Takes a moment to assess. Kicks it on the head of Kings. Balled by the Saints defence again. Sinclair gathers. Hand passes to Wanganeen. Miller at full back, and a good kick towards right half back. Wood takes the mark for Yoroke and takes a steadying moment before driving a long left foot kick to the wing. Owens the target, reads the ball out the back, wins the footy, gets the hand pass to the sub. Boxall, who has it, is harassed, taps it to the advantage of Jones, runs to 50. Jones kicks it to Sharman in the pocket, and Sharman takes the mark. Tough angle, 25 from goal.
Well done by young Boxall then. He was tackled, but he had the wherewithal to just sort of handball the ball out in front of him and then go again, tapping the ball to Jones.
2 goals, 3 for Cooper Sharman, opening up for the left foot snap. He's got it! Cooper Sharman's third goal. And the Saints finally get a bit of scoreboard nourishment for what's generally been flow of the play running their way since half-time. And it's a 13-point ball game. Gold Coast 9-5, 59 to Yoroke's 6 goals, 10, 46.
We're able to move the ball again from D50 all the way in the last line, really, all the way around the outer edge of Dockland Stadium without the Suns being able to get a hand on them. They've done it all day. They've been terrific in that regard. They just haven't had the presence and the capacity to close it off and get those big moments. But Cooper Sharman seemingly wants a few of those. He's been bit of a thorn in the side of the Gold Coast Suns defensive unit today, and that certainly makes things very, very interesting.
Crowd starting to lift here as well.
Got to keep a handle on Anderson. He's had 6 centre bounce clearances for the game. He's the one that's getting the Suns forward.
Marshall taps it down. Miller just soccers it forward this time. Lands inside 50. Windhager lost his feet. Allowed Flanders in, although he had a misgather on the first attempt. Windhager fights hard. Picks up the footy. Intercepted. Knocked down. Webster happy enough to see it over.
SMS is up and running, 0437 774 774, and quite rightly, John at Edgewater text, contrast our 25-minute third term here. They went long at the MCG. It was almost, 39 minutes?
40 minutes, yeah.
For the 39 minutes, 58 seconds, according to John, that last quarter at the G. No clearance from the boundary throw-in at right half forward here for the Suns. So the ump comes in, calls for a ball up, goes to the feet of the Rovers. Steele somehow extricates it. Hand passes to Marshall, puts a boot to it. Out of bounds on the full. Yep, out of bounds on the full. So it's 55 from goal for Matt Rowell to receive the free kick for Gold Coast. And the Suns just feeling a little bit of pressure here. Rowell with the kick to the corridor. King the target, can't mark. Roved by Ainsworth of the Suns, hands it to Miller, under pressure, hand pass turned over. Windhager steals it, hands it to Sinclair, clearing kick to half-back's good. Sharman marks, hands to Burns, runs the middle of Docklands, his hand pass over the head of Bradley Hill. That was surging, but the hands fail them, and in the end, it's a stoppage with Anderson getting in the way for the Suns. He's tackled, ball up in the bullseye.
Ross not overly wrapped about that in the box either.
No, had 3 or 4 options there, Burns, and chose none of the good ones.
Umpire waiting for the ruckman to wander about 50 metres up the field. So there's a bit of a pause before we have the stoppage. Then Caminiti taken in a tackle. We'll have a ball up about 70 out from the Suns' goal. Inside the centre square, umpire clears a path. Both ruckmen wander over again. Tap down, Miller through the stoppage, got the hand pass. Flanders had a fumble, back into congestion. Witts almost got it free, diving over the top, Marshall. Filippo in there. Strong at ground level, Webster. Windhager dragged off it. Ball didn't travel far. Now Rioli's onto it for the Suns. Takes 2 bounces through half forward. 3 bounces. Thought about a 4th. Instead hooks the ball to the danger zone. Suns have the flyers and King takes the mark. This will be his first kick of the afternoon. And what a time.
Yeah, it was just put to his advantage there. The Saints had Keeler behind. He'd lost his marker in Wilkie. And when you put the ball out in front of a bloke who's nearly 7 foot tall and he jumps up like that, it's pretty hard to spoil from behind. They've done a great job of keeping him out of the play so far.
He's had 4 metres gained for the afternoon.
4. 1 handball. 1 handball more than his brother.
Well, he should be fresh, or he may be rusty. What is the answer? 35 out, slight angle to the right. Ben King delivers. And just gets a steadier for the Suns. Margin back to 19 points. 6-10, 46, Euro, 10-5, 65, Gold Coast. We've played 5.5 minutes in the final term. Your experts, Nathan Burke and Daniel Harford.
Well, it took Rioli running off that half back line to really create something and put the ball inside 50 to the advantage of the Gold Coast forwards, which we haven't seen a lot, especially in this second half. So it's a good effort by Rioli. But the thing for me is the Saints are winning the scrappy balls. When the ball hits the ground, and there's a whole bunch of plays there, 8 out of 10 times that the Saints are coming up with that ball, whereas normally with Rowell and Anderson and Miller, that's their strength. So I think those 3 fellas in particular need to really lift their game in that area if the Suns are going to continue this lead.
Quiet day for Ben King, but now up to 30 goals for the season. Centre bounce, important clearance, it's a Suns clearance. Miller with the hand, pass to Rowell, kick to full forward. King's there in the 2-on-2, can't mark. Spoiled away by Caminiti, taps it once and twice and thrice to get it towards left half back. He goes again, Caminiti, tapped it a 4th time. He's earned about 40 metres, just rumbling it upfield there, gets it over the boundary line. Well played by the makeshift defender.
He did well there because one of those chaps had just had to break to the left, and it's a free kick.
Yeah, they would have been hot on the insufficient there, but well done by Caminiti. Throwing it left half back for the Saints, right half forward for the Suns. Holman in the chop, but immediately tackled. No clearance. We'll see a ball up. Quentin Hull, Andrew Mays, Nathan Burke, Dan Harford and Lexia Pesha bringing you the final phases of round 11 Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Tossed up, Witts threw an arm at it, didn't get the tap. Ralvo got the clearance, hand pass then to Anderson. High kick around the body, it landed at the top of 50. Big fist from Sinclair, nice defence, and it is out of bounds. 55 from the Suns' goal. 46 plays 65. Gold Coast with a 19-point advantage. Did get back to 13 points, which was the closest the Saints had been since late in the second term. Toss back into play. Clark onto it. He's got no space. Drops the footy out the back. Umpire said play on. Steele around the body. Filippo, lovely take. And then kicks the fat side of the footy. It'll stay in play up towards the wing. Collins with a big fist. Suns with the numbers at the fall of the ball. And Holman happy enough to see it out and takes the boundary throw in as a bit of pressure is applied to him. Couple of kicks from goal now. 46 plays 65. 19-point margin for the Suns.
Approaching 9 minutes, final quarter at Docklands. Up rolls it in, Witts, clear tap, misses his rover. Steals over it, nudged off it by Miller. Anderson picks up, immediately tackled. Ball up.
Good time taking off the clock here by the Gold Coast Suns, just locking it up. They got their big balls in at the stoppage, making it really difficult for the Saints to get it away.
Well, found a free kick in that big man tangle. It's against Marshall.
I've got a new rule, Ruckman. They should just be allowed to do whatever they want. There's no holding. You could just wrestle the bloke to the ground.
Witts with the free kick, hand passes to Hewlin from 70, kicks to the pocket, but Sinclair makes it his own. The experienced Jack Sinclair with the mark in the left back pocket for the Saints. Kicks it to half back, and Boxall takes the mark, the sub. Kicks it to the wing. O'Connell takes the grab, plays on with a kick towards half forward, rolls in front of Filippo. He's got company from Rioli. Both men go to ground. Owens arrives to pick up for the Saints. Hand pass infield, taken by Steele on 50. Hand passes in desperation infield. Boxall tries again. Hand passes turned over. Stolen by Rowell on D50 for the Suns. Breaks the congestion with a 20-metre hand pass to Fiorini. Hands it to Rioli. Chips to the wing. Ainsworth marks and holds up for a moment for the Suns, who lead it by 19 points.
Bit of composure, goes back inboard to Rowell, who takes the mark in the centre square. Now to centre half back to Andrew. Flares it out wide to left half back, and now Jeffrey. Just tells his teammates to pause. Umpire waving play on 5 times. Sharman runs up, and then it's an awkward.
What's that?
High ball. I don't even know what to call that. It's very casual, like he was kicking in the backyard. Noble onto it though, kicks inside, and mark taken, and short pass to Swallow, who led a couple of times and then takes it 48 out on a 45-degree angle to the left.
One thing I've noticed about the Suns in transition defence, Berculos, we get a handball play on here.
It is a handball play on to Jeffrey, who was nonchalant a couple of moments ago, and this time away to the left for one behind. So margin up to 20 points in favour of the Suns.
They retreat really quickly. Rather than come up at the ball carrier, they fold back onto their opponents or back into space rather than putting pressure on the guy with the ball. And it's opened up so many opportunities for the Saints through the arcs, in between the arcs today, that it's putting themselves under pressure now because they're getting fatigued and they're missing out on the opportunities to defend.
Webster to Clark in the pocket. Clark long to the wing with his kick, and Jeffrey outmarks Wood. Paid the mark for the Suns. Kicks infield to his skipper. Anderson marks and kicks it to the bullseye or defensive side they're on for Noble. Completes the switch to the broadcast side. Bodie Hewland takes the grab for the Suns. 20 points the lead. So as much as the Saints seem to have had a good run of things the last quarter and a bit, they need 4 goals to get in front. They've only kicked 6 for the game.
This is 31 for Anderson.
Yep, Hewland to Anderson, who marks 70 from goal, kicks to the pocket near the boundary line. It ricochets off the shoe of King and out in the full. There should be a free kick for St Kilda. The boundary umpire hasn't seen it that way.
I think it came off his knee.
Okay, I called shin.
Yeah, might be a knee.
Yeah, you're right, Berkey. Good call. And good call from the umps. Boundary throw in on attacking 50 for Gold Coast. Wits to the front. Great service down to Fiorini. Quick kick to full forward. Off the front of the pack. Clark Roves dispossessed from the tackle of King. Did he drop it? Is it holding the ball? Yep. Ben King earns the free kick with a great defensive piece of work. And he'll have a shot from about 30 out, slot angle right.
You get the sense that the Saints have fired their shot in that third quarter. They gave it everything and didn't get the result that they were after. They came out, they tried again, but Gold Coast have just gone, no, because you know what, you've had your go. Now we're just going to pick up our rating a little bit, because the last 5 minutes that the players all been down the Gold Coast end.
He's almost been absent for the first 3 quarters. He's like the teacher. King, and there was no answer until now. He's about to kick the second goal in a row, perhaps, in the game to make it a 26-point lead for Gold Coast. Oh, it hits the post. There's been a few of those. We're up to, I reckon, 5 posters in the game.
At least 6.
Okay,
yeah,
Dan. Yeah. 21 points to lead to the Suns. Saints just still in it. 13 minutes final turn.
Still 12 minutes to go here, so plenty of time for the Saints.
Hanging Miller up. Oh, followed it up beautifully. Mark wasn't taken, and then he was able to crumb. His hand pass, though, missed the target. Hill inside. Suns have it now at half forward through Rioli. Kicks inside, attacking 50. Big spoil, but Roses is there to rove and then squeezes out a kick. It's well directed. Oh, it should have been front on contact. It wasn't. Umpire said play on. King didn't get the free. Jeffrey then absolutely flips his opponent over his back, centres up. What a move that was from Roses. Incredible stuff. Jeffrey's got the footy now. 48 out directly in front.
Well, he knew he was going to get hammered by his Kilda opponent there, Roses, so he just really drove down to the ground, kept his strength power position, felt the contact and just said, no, I'll flick you off, which he did. It was quite magnificent.
Max Hall, who got flipped over the body of Mal Roses.
It's a wrestling move you'd see between 2 kids at home. Speaking from experience.
Sounds like a good house at your house.
In comes Jeffrey, and he stuck the fist up as soon as that left his boot. And that is just his second goal of the season, and it's a big one for the Suns. You feel like it's just enough breathing space now. 6-10-46 Euro. 11-7-73 the Suns. We played 15 minutes in this final term. Nathan Burke and Daniel Harford.
Well, they're a bit stiff, probably not to get a free kick for that front-on contact at King, which you called, Maisie. But watching the replay again of Roses just dismiss Hall, that was quite something. Real good. I reckon he'd squat a bit in the gym. Just the way he powered out of that. I suggest he's got a little bit of power in those legs, Roses. And it was a brilliant kick back into the corridor too. Good. After all that, to have the composure to bring the ball back in and look inside was a very mature play.
And are we seeing the continued maturing of the Gold Coast Suns?
Yeah, they were challenged and they've certainly bounced back really strongly.
And another clearance for the old firm. Rowell underneath Witts, gives to Anderson. Kick to half forward. Burns there though for the Saints. Wins the footy, hands to Wilkie under pressure. Got his boot to it. Is that a mark? No. Play on, says the umpire. Steele was trying to claim the mark. It was a half volley, ball up. He got tackled by Rowell immediately.
Lee Fisher called for a throw-in without the ball going out of bounds there.
Close enough. Marshall taps down to Jones, gives to Steele. In tight, the Saints get a clearance. Steele with a rush kick from left half back to the wing. Sharman and Andrew battle. Neither wins clean possession, but Powell does for the Suns. Gives it to Andrew. Andrew hands it on to Humphrey. Tries to fend away from Steele, does a twist on Travalia, then gives a hand pass backwards to Fiorini on the wing. Kick to Holman at the front of the pack, couldn't mark under pressure from Wanganeen Millera. Rode by Owens of the Saints. Hand pass to Caminiti at left half back, he hands it back to Owens. Kicks towards the wing, Sharman's caught behind Powell. Both tangled, neither mark. Picked up by Higgins of the Saints, hands it to Travalia, he's on the wing and kicked it straight to Rioli. At centre half back for the Suns.
You could see what he wanted, but he just missed Hall with the pass. Suns come the other way. Kick through the middle is good. Now long on to it. He's 55 from goal. Pokes it into the forward pocket from behind Walter. Forced to spoil. And the boundary throw in it'll be. Deep inside attacking 50 for Gold Coast.
G'day to Neil, who's trucking from the Western Districts to Melbourne. He's enjoying the call. Thank you, Neil. 0437 774 774, the number to get in touch. Crows and D's winners earlier today. We'll get the post-match from here and wrap up the round. Once we get to the end of this one, Burns with a desperate clearing kick from the right back pocket for the Saints. It rolls out of play. I think that's going to be a throw-in. Yep, you always say that, though, with trepidation these days. That was just the bounce of the Sherrin and not any lack of intent to keep the ball in. So, ball seems to be locked in the attacking half of the Suns, though, the last 10 minutes or so. 27 points is the lead for Gold Coast. Which wins tap time. Rouse there, but tackled immediately by Sinclair and Owens. And another ball up will be the result here. What's Rowell up to? He's sort of...
22 for Rowell. Yeah. Anderson's had 33.
Yeah, 9 clearances for Anderson, 5 for Rowell.
Long kick from Wanganeen Millera from the stoppage. Just didn't quite sit forward, and then he's taken down in a tackle. Got the hand pass away. Oh, what a pickup from Anderson. Full pelt with the right mitt, stuck it, and beautiful pass to Walter, who takes it 55 from goal. Couple of options in the pocket. He goes longer instead to Roses. He was held in the contest, and easy enough for Wanganeen Millera to slam it through for a rush behind. One extra for the Suns. Margin is now out to 28 points.
Inside 50s in this quarter. 13 for Gold Coast, 1 for Euro. 13-1 to the Suns over the Saints. Hill running through half back, trying to change that. He's kicked towards Windhager, is punched away by the opposite number 2. Johnny Noble sees that out of play.
Having said that, 1 inside 50, 1 goal for the Saints.
Yep, 1 inside 50 for a Cooper Sharman goal, but it sort of backs up that flow that we were saying, Daniel, about we've been looking right from our broadcast position. It's been locked in the attacking half of the Suns.
Which we were doing in the third quarter for the Saints, and they just couldn't maximise their looks, which we talked about at 3/4 time.
Throw in left half forward for St Kilda. Jones comes through, immediately tackled by Flanders, turned over. Noble comes away for the Suns, hands it to Rioli, hands back to Noble, runs into Wanganeen Millera, holding the ball. No. Ball up. No prior.
Game sense, Wanganeen Millera. He was trying to look on Ainsworth, I think it was. He was mining. It took off once the ball was streaming through, but he came back at the ball carrier and laid a crunching tackle.
Ball and all. Knocked down. Anderson again gets a toe on it, gained about 10 metres towards the wing. He'll be happy enough to get another stoppage here, and that's exactly what happens as Wanganeen Millera has him for company and wraps things up 10 metres inside the field with the interchange benches, yelling a few instructions. Miller with the clearance. Now a kick from Rao. He goes forward. Bit of courage here required from Flanders. Turn tackler. Knocked it out of Wilkie's hands. Hand pass to Miller. Inside, and now King has it. What an impact he's had in the last quarter. Ben King might end up with his second here. Should be 3 after he hit the post. That was after having one hand pass to 3/4 time.
Yes, it'll be 3 disposals in this last term. It'll be 3 scoring shots. He kicked 1 from 2. He should score at some stage from here, you'd think.
Hit the post earlier in the term from a similar angle, but he was a little further out. This one he'll kick from 25. Slight angle to the right. In he comes, and he squeezes it home. Flirted with that left post again. But it is straight enough and good enough for the Suns. 34 points now the margin. 6-10-46, Euroke. Gold Coast 12-8-80 and steaming towards another victory.
Noah Anderson's had an outstanding day. Did you play with his father at Hawthorn?
No, Dean, no. I missed him. He was at the Saints.
Went to the Saints by then.
With you?
Yes, absolutely.
I miss Dino. Much loved member of the community, though. Don't worry about that. They love him.
They do. I kicked 5 goals, Hawthorn grand final.
Correct.
Completely different player to Noah, though. Not really an inside mid, more of your flanker, winger type player. Very skillful.
Saints sort of had that surge in the third quarter. Now looking at the fourth term centre bounce clearances. Suns 4, Saints 0. So they're beating them at the source. Let's see what happens here. As soon as I give that stat, Jones gets underneath one, hands it to Steele. Given on to Boxall, who kicks to half forward. Doesn't have anyone on the end of it, though. Holman picks it up for the Suns. Hand passes to Ainsworth, runs the wing, kicks to half forward, 2-on-2, Caminiti. Too good in the pack to mark for the Saints. Hands it out the back to Windhager. Immediately kicks it defensively to Webster. Marks and completes the transfer to Burns. Takes the grab on the right half back flank. Got to go quickly. The Saints might be beyond them now anyway. They kick to half forward. Sharman takes the mark between wing and half forward for Euroke. Kicks to Wood. Takes the mark right on the boundary. On 50. Right half forward. He wheels onto the left. Shoots on goal. It's touched on the line by Holman. It's a point.
Mac Andrew, the reason I said no was Mac Andrew was down with no one within 25 metres, so you just hope something serious hasn't happened there.
And he's now in the hands of a trainer, and Noble and Rioli have come over to look at him. Yeah, I didn't see that, Maisie, so just describe what you saw.
Yeah, so I don't know whether it was that push-off mechanism or whether it was a turn. Yeah,
something loose.
Let's hope it's not the Achilles, because he did sort of push off. I sort of just went to ground, and there was that's why there was a number of Saints in a lot of space, but he's hurting.
So he cannot put weight on the right leg at the moment, Mac Andrew, and everyone's sort of looking. No doubt they're furiously working on the EVS and the TV truck as well, trying to find a replay. No one's got one for it yet, trying to find an angle.
They've made a heavy investment in this young man, and if it's which we clearly hope it's not, a long-term problem, that's going to be a real blow for them. But he's seemingly putting a little bit more through it now as he's being helped off by 2 trainers. He closes in towards the interchange off gates.
Firstly, he's not very free in his gait, so that to me rules out the ACL mechanism. Usually there's pain and then you can walk, but he's not walking very well.
No, it looks more like your ankle.
Yeah. Hashtag not a doctor, but Alexia's close, and we'll keep you across that as Mac Andrew walks to the bench. So, what's that? Suns by 33 off that behind, which was touched on the line. Powell restarts play with the kick in for the Suns. Witts tries to get to it on the wing. Got a hand, couldn't mark. Falls to his feet. The cavalry arrive to lock it up with Rao playing tackler on Hunter Clark. 24 and a half, fourth term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. It's the Suns by 33.
Tossed up. Witts over the top. Clark sharked it. Quick snap into the middle. It's an attacking ball. Wood, his hand pass will reach Hill on the bounce. Right half forward. Gets a hand pass further afield to Sinclair. 52 from goal. Puts it to the top of the square. It's just out in front and then bounces awkwardly for O'Connell. He drags it in. Rowell there. Tries to absorb the tackle. Umpire says, that's your prior. And it is holding the ball. Hunter Clark, one of the tacklers. He was gang tackled and Clark gets up. He'll receive the free kick before that. Let's head downstairs. Alexa.
Mac Andrews obviously come to the boundary. He looks like he's in a bit of pain as the doctor touches what looks like to be his ankle. He took his shoe straight off, but also hashtag not a doctor.
There's a few around him. Hopefully it's not too serious. Meanwhile, Clark pushes it across the face. In fact, this isn't going to make the distance, and it's not even going to score as it's punched back into play. He was only 35 out from goal. Long kick, and Wanganeen Miller, who's penalised here.
This will be possession number 34. Gee, I'm impressed with him.
Yeah.
He cares about defence, which is what I love. Everyone talks about his offence, but he cares about defence. He works really hard to get back and help.
Kicks it to the pocket over the head of Marshall, and it rolls out of play. Boundary throwing in the left forward pocket for Yoroke. And they've got the D's in Alice next week. The Demons just finding a bit of bubble in their season.
Oh, well, they are.
Beating the Swans today, beating the Lions last week. And the Saints season starting to get really wobbly. Beautiful tap down from Marshall to Sinclair. That's a lovely piece of ruck to rover work, which results in a late goal for Yoroke. Jack Sinclair. That had more care than Rowan Atkinson's Christmas rap in Love Actually. The way that was delivered.
Jeez, that's a good story. I was watching that the other day. It was on the TV. I saw that the other day. That's a very good analogy. That's a lot of love.
But I don't want a Christmas box. What's the score? Gold Coast 12-8-80. Yoroke 7-11-53. I think the buzz has gone out of this one. That's why we're going with those types of things.
I'm still waiting for the roast potato recipes.
For those that weren't with us earlier, we were getting a lovely number of, what did we get? Lamb rack, homemade spring rolls, beef stroganoff, 0437 774 774.
Sunday night specials.
Your dinner sorted, or if you want to talk about the footy as well. Amazing.
Back in the middle.
There's that too.
Just sock it out. And then Wanganeen Miller onto it. He kicks forward. Rioli with a lot of courage. Now, here's a free kick. It was called by the umpire in the centre. It's at half forward. Wood, hand pass to Clark. How's his hit this time? A bit longer, a bit stronger, all the way to the line. And then dropped by Sharman when he probably expected a little bit more pressure from behind. And be a ball up right on the goal line.
We just saw some shots of McAndrew, an ice bag around the outside of his right ankle. So if that's the worst case, it's ankle, not Achilles, that's a good thing.
Tossed up. Marshall grabbed it out of the ruck, spilt it at the last moment. Fiorini to Hewland. Hewland sweeps a hand pass looking for Rao. Hill stood up in the tackle. Then Rao fishes for it at ground level. Hand pass out straight to Sinclair. And a dinky little pass inboard is good. The mark taken by Owens, who'll line up 30 out directly in front.
It was good by Steele. He was going to have a banana from there. He changed the drop of his ball midstream because he saw Owens in the corridor all by himself to make it a drop punt as opposed to a check side. Very clever.
Owens, 30 out directly in front. Makes it 2 in a row for the Saints and 2 for him this afternoon. Margin back to 21 points. Probably not quite time enough. 8-11-59 Yoroke. And Gold Coast 12-8-80.
Yeah, only 2.5 minutes of playing time left.
Yeah, just want to make a mention with Will Powell has done an outstanding job on Jack Higgins. Just the one kick, 4 handballs from Jack Higgins, and it's just been a good old-fashioned one-on-one contest. He's had him for the whole game. Higgins hasn't really had to score assist either. Normally, if he's not kicking a goal, he's handballing off a couple or kicking a couple. But Will Powell has done an outstanding job on a guy who's kicked 28 goals so far this year.
Nathan Burke with you on Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. Just Too little too late from the Saints, and it'll be a rare win for the Suns at this venue against this opposition. As mentioned a number of times, 8 starts here for the Suns against the Saints. They've only won once at Docklands against Euroke. That was 11 years ago, 2014, back in round 9. And no clearance from the centre stoppage here. So it's another one of those boxes ticked, gentlemen, for the Suns. Sort of set it up. They go to Darwin, they win. Yeah, they were good, but it's about where they grow and the areas that held them back were. And we saw them lose to Richmond here earlier in the season. This is an important tick for Damien Hardwick's Suns, as, again, plenty willing at the feet of the pack in the centre, but no clearance will have another stoppage.
Yeah, we talked to Mark Evans about that pre-game, didn't we? The CEO of the Gold Coast Suns, about little markers along the way that show your growth, and everyone gets to see it. Everyone gets to celebrate those little steps along the journey. And the Gold Coast have had another one here today, which is just adds fuel to their drive for hopefully their best season ever.
Rioli tackled at the stoppage, holding the ball. Advantage taken by Filippo. He slots it onto the chest of Clark. Marks at 45 metres from goal, Hunter Clark. Looking for 3 late ones for the Saints. 2 steps, 50 metres, bang, good kick. It's just to the left though. Just to the left and behind, 20 points the lead at 80 to 60.
Kicks it from 55, but doesn't make it from 20.
He was fortunate that he's playing on Noah Anderson, who is just now playing as a loose player in the back line. So Clark went down there with him and found himself with a shot for goal.
Yuland with a long kick in. Caminiti flies. Good punch in the end, down towards a bit of congestion. And Rao gets to his feet as per usual, hands the footy back to the umpire. He's got Steele for company at this stoppage. Marshall reaches over the top, back down to Rao. Miller picked it up though, hand pass over the top to Flanders. Flanders took a bit off the footy, gets it to Long. Walters out the back here, he turned the wrong way. Just turned to his right and banged it inside 50 where Walter was bolting back towards goal.
Just happy to stop the clock here for a bit.
And Long goes to Walter in the end, into the pocket. Walter trying to get a good position and then tries to slap it to stop it going from out of bounds. Can't do so. We'll have a ball in 25 around from the Gold Coast goal.
He had options to go to there, but whether the Suns are just practicing what to do in certain situations, because Noah Anderson's gone now behind the football. He's the deepest play for the Suns. That kick was just a long one to the boundary to get a throw in. So a bit of practicing going on here by the Suns, I think.
Free kick to the Saints from the throw in. Marshall was held by Witts. Saints take the advantage and run it out of half back. Sinclair receives a hand pass from Filippo. 2 bounces to the wing. Chips it to Owens. Marks it 70 out. Inboard kick hits the lead of Higgins, who marks it 40 metres out. 28 goals for the season, but none today for Jack Higgins, who hasn't had a lot of it.
Yeah, this is not getting past. I'll run him past Naz.
Man on the marks 40 metres from goal. Jack Higgins, again, looking to just add a bit more respectability to the scoreboard. Right foot drop, punts off to the right and a point. Suns by 19 in the dying stages at the Docklands. Gold Coast 12-8-80. Euroke 8-13-61.
Jaffrey with the kick-in duties. Runs into the back pocket, then as far as he can out of defence. Witts flies, big fist over the top. Rowell at ground level, picks it up. He's wrapped up. Ball going nowhere. Stoppage to take place. Left half forward for Euroke. Tossed up. Witts palms it down. Shark by Steele. Kicks deep inside forward 50. Big fist in the forward pocket. Higgins there couldn't quite rove. We'll have a ball in next to the left line post.
And I'd suggest there won't even be a stat before the siren, apart from a boundary throw-in credit to that umpire, because we are basically expired of time. And Gold Coast will take another step forward in this 2025 campaign, which many north of the Tweed hope will be a landmark trip to September. The Suns have beaten the Saints. It doesn't happen often here at Docklands. It's the first time in a decade that they've done it. Gold Coast by 19 points. They had the better of the contest, albeit that third quarter where Euroke just sprayed their chances, just inaccuracy in front of goal when the Saints had their good run of things. But it was an 18-point lead for Gold Coast at quarter time, 29 points at half time. Just the 19 points at three-quarter time. Euroke kicked the first of the last term, but then Suns kicked the next three to really shut it out. Last two goals of the game to the Saints, but it's Gold Coast 12-8-80. Euroke 8-13-61. So 3 goals, 3 apiece in that final quarter. So that margin at three-quarter time holds. And as mentioned, 9 starts against the Saints at Docklands for the Suns and just their second win. And St Kilda really had a very dominant record over Gold Coast. They'd won 9 of their last 10. So yet again, one of these little steps taken by Damien Hardwick's Suns. And they've got the second best win-loss record in the competition. Or you could argue...
You could argue they're nominal ladder leaders.
You could argue that they've even got a... So you remember the old...
Match ratio.
Match ratio. The old bye match ratio. So, of course, it's Collingwood 11 played, 9 wins, 2 losses. Suns 10 played, 8 wins, 2 losses. And, of course, the Lions have had 2.5 losses.
So you'd back them in to beat Essendon up at Carrara in that first opening round game, had it been played, so they'd be 9-2 with a healthy percentage in the Magpies.
Yeah,
they'd be on top of the ladder.
It's a really interesting look, Daniel Harford and Nathan Burke, to take you through this one and through the rest of the day's footy. We will not only get to the rooms here, but we'd love your thoughts. 0437 774 774 to get in touch. Please send us your name and where you're texting from. We'll get through all the round 11 details. 0437 774 774. Crows by 66 earlier today. Narm by 53 across town. But here, how did the Suns beat the Saints by 19 points, gentlemen?
Well, they weren't overly convincing, Berkey. I didn't think through the afternoon. And I think if you're an opposition team, you want to try and get a hold of the Gold Coast Suns in the back end of the season. I'd be watching the way that St Kilda defended their transition and the way that they kept coming up at the ball carrier and forcing them to make that extra possession, extra handball, extra kick. Because I reckon they got found wanting a few times. And if I'm Damien Hardwick, I'm looking at that saying, okay, that's still an area we can really improve come the back end of the year, come finals time. So they weren't overly impressive. They did enough because they're a better team. I think better squad. Talent-wise, but I reckon the Saints put up a really good fight today.
And on the way to Berkey, just Nathan, that we can see Mac Andrew. That was going to be the big story. He's iced up yet to the point where he is happy enough to walk without crutches or without a trainer, and he's handing a football to fans over the fence. So he's obviously rolled that ankle in a pretty bad way, but he's walking with ice on it. It doesn't. Well, that seems to be a positive sign for the big fella.
Yeah, and the way that it was done, it's pretty much out in the open. It's potentially he just caught a loose bit of turf or something like that on a turn, on a takeoff, and just sort of tweaked the outside of that ankle. So let's fingers crossed for the Suns and him that's the case. Look, the Saints aren't going to win a game when you kick average 2 goals a quarter. So 8 goals, 13. Had their chances in that third quarter. They were very good. It completely dismantled the way the Suns wanted to play, but kicked 1 goal, 6 in that quarter, missed them. So they just shot themselves in the foot and then failed to get the ball inside 50, probably the first half of that last quarter as well, where the Suns just regathered. Their midfielders said, hey, let's, this is not the way that we want to play. And they stepped up. I like what the Suns, pardon me, I like what the Suns are doing. I look at, if they're going to be a top team, where are the holes? And I reckon you called Sam Collins a few times. His work as the key man down there is outstanding. So you need a big key man down there. Who's his tall second banana down there? I'm not quite sure who that is. You look at the May and Levers and all those big duos that you get in the back line. Who's Sam Collins? Mac Andrew, is he that guy? I don't know. Is he that guy in finals? We yet to find out. Up front, they've got 3 tall guys who are can go missing, for want of a better term.
They did today.
Yeah, they certainly did for most of it today.
So that's King, Reid and Walter.
Yeah, they can go missing, all 3 of them, for long periods of the game. So between now and finals, that Mac Andrew has to prove his good second banana. Those blokes need to go. On our worst, we're kicking 2 each, getting half a dozen between us. Midfield, tick, absolutely fine. Blokes on the outside, Fiorini and those, they need to keep playing at a high level. Flanders, Fiorini, they can play at a high level. They need to keep playing at that high level. So, look, I think they've got the makings of it, but the good thing is, if you're a Gold Coast Suns supporter, this is by no means at all the ceiling. They've got a lot of improving to do.
And down back, obviously, the ACL to Charlie Ballard was a big disabling
that's the one.
issue. One of the best intercept marks in the comp, but Will Powell not the same size, but he's doing his bit. And I think Elliot Himmelberg as a body, they recruited him to the club, but he was injured, I think, in a VFL game recently, so he's out as well.
You need 2 runners off the back line, Noble and Rioli.
We got them.
Great recruits, absolutely great recruits. That's absolutely what they need there. And we saw Joel Jeffrey do some good things today as well. So they've got the makings, but there's upside in pretty much all of those players. I can't think of any, apart from probably what's his name, Swallow. Can't ask for more from him, but he's playing a role. But the others have certainly got upside, so it's exciting times.
It was interesting. Damien Hardwick at his press conference during the week spoke about winning when you don't play your best.
Yeah,
and that's
they did that
today's an exact example of that. So he'll be a happy man downstairs.
Stamp the passport, take the points and go home.
Yeah, and Mac Andrew is able to walk from the field with Bailey Humphrey, those 2 guys celebrating their 50th AFL games today. So Andrew with a bit of a limp, and Lex Pescia's in the rooms. We'll get down to her in just a moment. Final score here, Gold Coast by 19 points. The Suns are 8-2 in their quest to make finals for the first time. Gold Coast 12 goals, 8, 80 to Eurokes, 8 goals, 13, 61. Earlier today it was the Crows by 11 goals and Narm by 53 points at the MCG. The Suns are making their way into the rooms. Alexia Pescia's there.
Firstly, guys, Mac Andrew, as you said, has walked in, but he's also got a smile on his face. So we'll take that as a good sign. His family is here as well. Lots of cheering happening down here in the rooms. A fair few families, which is quite nice, isn't it? Given they're obviously the travelling team. But we'll get the song. It's a nice sound.
We are the Suns of the Gold Coast sky. We are the ones in the red, gold, blue. We are the mighty Gold Coast Suns. We play to win the flag for you. Fight, fight, fight till we hold up the cup. Run, run, run all the way. Hey! We are the Suns of the Gold Coast sky. We're the team who will never say die.
We'll stay close, Lex, and bring you more reaction from the Suns rooms in just a moment. Not a huge crowd here, 13,486 to see the Suns beat the Saints by 19 points, but those that have come stuck around and kicked a kick on the ground after the game, which is always good to see. Your texts continue to be welcome on 0437 774 774. Just a couple to look at it at the moment. Paul, is it Paul? Yeah, Paul is texting, I can't see the teams outside the 8 now making it. Maybe Freo or Melbourne could displace GWS, so I'll give you the quick ladder. After round 11. So Pies 9-2, then Lions 8.5 wins, 2 losses. So 2 premiership points there. And I'll pause on that because Lex is quick to the task down in the Gold Coast Suns room. Let's rejoin Alexia Pescia.
Thanks, guys. I do have Took Miller with me, who was very kind and very quick to join us. Thanks for joining us on ABC Sport. Firstly, congrats on the win. You haven't won here against the Suns in a while. How does this one feel?
Yeah. I mean, I know we don't have a very good record against them, but we did talk about pre-game, and I think for us it's about our next shift, and that was we had to focus on this game. Bring the identity that we feel like we've been showing for the last 9 games, and it felt like it turned into a win for us today.
That was Damien Hardwick, who just gave you a tap on the back there for your game. You probably didn't see that. What did he say to you pre-game about that record?
He just talked at the wood over us, and that just is what it is. We've probably got a a couple of hoodoos that we haven't got off our back yet, and I felt like that was a good one to win today. So yeah, I mean, we played a really solid game. I know towards the end it felt like we probably let it slip a little bit with a couple silly stoppage errors, but yeah, look, when you win, you got to make the most of it, enjoy it. The next 24 hours, and then we get ready for Freo next week.
As a leader and as this group is quite clearly building, when you get through these hoodoos, how much does it mean to this side?
Yeah, I mean, it just probably builds belief and confidence. As much as you want to say that they're not there, I think everyone on the back of their mind is thinking about it to a degree, and someone in your family or someone texts you or someone brings it up during the week and it probably makes you think twice about it. But like I said, I feel like the brand of football that we're playing and the identity that we're starting to build is keeps us pretty safe in those types of games and gives us a really good starting base to give ourselves a chance to win. So I think we're doing that well.
The last one for me before I head upstairs. Just in that third quarter, it was when the Saints sort of came and maybe it looked like your defence sort of came unstuck a little bit. What was the message at three-quarter time?
Yeah, it did. St Kilda are very good. They make the ground really big. We probably didn't want that to happen so much. Probably wanted to get it more in a contest for us. And look, they moved the ball off the line really well, managed to cut us through the corridor. Some of their ball users got their hands on the footy, which made it hard for us to defend the ground. Look, we made a couple of silly turnovers as well. It's really hard when you kick them in that trampoline zone, 30 out from goal and right in the guts, and you got to defend it coming on the way back. But I feel like we held up pretty well.
Huff and Berkey, it's over to you.
Took, well done, mate. Daniel Harford, great to be chatting to you. I'm interested, we always hear about teams and coaches talk about getting the game played on Gold Coast terms, or whichever team it is, their terms. Did you feel you had the game on terms for much of the day today, or was it a bit more of an arm wrestle than you thought?
I felt like we actually had it on our terms. It definitely felt like that. There was obviously moments like in the third quarter, like that last 5-minute patch in the last that we probably let it slip a little bit, but I feel like that's just going to happen in football. You can't have the control of the game the whole entire time. I think it's just how you hold the line in those moments. You don't turn 2 goals into 4 into 6 type thing. So look, I think we played a majority of our identity, but there was some patches I think we can clean up still.
What's been the growth this year for the team from your eyes? You've been around for a long time now, 201 games playing for the Gold Coast Suns. What's the growth this year in your eyes, and how far can it take you?
For us, obviously finals is the goal, as it is for every team, and you want to win premierships, so that's always an end goal for us. But I think it comes back down to building an identity for us, and hopefully that you guys are starting to see that on the field. We probably haven't had that as much in the past, and I think we're starting to build a game plan and a solid foundation that we can bring every single week. We've got players that can play their role, and I feel like we're starting to become a bit more of a gritty team, and we've got a lot more chemistry between the teams, so it makes a difference.
And you're coming up to the bye rounds now. The competition's coming up to the bye rounds now. You've got 2 more games before your bye. You've had a couple of busy weeks up in Darwin, which is not easy to play up there. It takes a fair bit out of you. Have you felt the pinch in the last little bit?
No. We've been up there enough times to probably learn our lessons on what works and what doesn't. So I think we managed that really well. Part of playing for the Gold Coast Suns is you do travel a bit, and that just comes with the job for us. And I think that we try to manage that as best we can. So no excuses in the amount that we travel or where we go to. We just wherever we turn up, we've got to win, and I feel like we're doing that really well.
Nathan Burke here, mate. Congratulations on a good win today, even though you probably didn't play your best, but you still won away at this ground without playing your best. So that should make you guys pretty happy.
It does. Like I said, I think you still got to enjoy the wins. Yes, like you can't be on your game the whole entire time, but it's probably how you hold the line a little bit and how you manage those moments. So I think we did that really well today. Like I said, we probably didn't play our best footy the whole game, but in saying that, I feel like we gave ourselves the best chance to win a game of football.
8-2 after 10. Have you let your mind drift to finals?
You're silly if you haven't though. Like everyone, like I said before, everyone's trying to play for finals, so you've got to set your season up really well. We're trying to play a finals brand of football, so hopefully what we're starting to build and the week-to-week foundation that we're starting to put together that will hold us in good stead and get us to a finals berth, and hopefully who knows from there.
Took, it's Quentin Hull here. I was just speaking in the post-game, and we were going through the areas of where you're improved and just sort of the question marks around what the team sort of needs to continue to take the next step in the areas. So I'm just wondering, inside the 4 walls, what's the part of your game that you probably look at, either the way you play or personnel? What are those areas that you still think, well, this is where we need to step up if we are to take that next step?
I think for us it's just about continuing to build the fundamentals of our game. Dimmer gives us a really good system to play within, and I think that if we can apply that every single week and all blokes can adapt to their role and play that really well, we're going to be in pretty good positions most week. I feel like it probably shows in the way that we've played this year. Like, even our losses haven't been very, very large, and our wins, yes, we've had some really good ones, but some of the ones like today, we've probably held the line really well, and I feel like that's from having a really good system and understanding how that works, and we've grown on that from last year. So, I think for us, continue to build on those fundamentals of our game, and I think it's going to hold us in good stead going forward.
We saw Big Mac walk off with some ice, but it looked pretty bad when he came from the ground. How's he look in the rooms right now? Can you see him?
Look, I wouldn't be surprised if Big Mac Sauce runs out there on Monday morning training, to be honest with you. So he's a bit like that. He's walking past a bit ginger now, but I don't know, something about that bloke, he manages to bounce back pretty quick.
Well, when a giraffe rolls an ankle, it's quite the limbs that are rolled onto.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, take us through your next 24 hours. What do? Do you jump on the plane tonight, or you back up tomorrow? Take us through what your next 24 hours looks like.
So we don't get into the Gold Coast until tomorrow, so we'll have a bit of a quiet one tonight. We've got a 6-day turn, and then we'll get into preparing for Freo next week. So look, we're excited for that, but like I said, 24 hours, let's enjoy the win, and
It's been a while since you've played a Carrara game. Look forward to that on Saturday, Took. Thanks for your time.
No worries, thanks guys, appreciate it.
Former Suns captain Took Miller, and just a lazy 30 disposals today, playing a bit of a different role. He didn't kick, yes he did kick one goal today. So among all those years, his best return in a season was 8 goals. He's now up to 12 already this year, playing a bit of a different role. Quentin Hull, along with Andrew Mays, Nathan Burke and Daniel Harford, wrapping up Gold Coast's 19-point win over Euroke. The Suns 12-8-80 to the Saints 8-13-61. I was just about to start on that ladder when we got to Took, so let's go again. Magpies 9-2. Lions 8 wins, 2 losses with the draw as well. And then the Suns with a game in hand. 8 wins, 2 losses. So Gold Coast third with an asterisk. Then today, the Crows victorious by 11 goals over the Eagles. So they're the leading group of 3 that have played 11 games and have won 7. Crows, Cats, Hawks. 130% for the Crows, 122% for the Cats, 118% for the Hawks. So that's 4, 5, 6. There are 3 teams with a 6-5 record, and then the Bombers with the 6-4 asterisk. So inside the 8, the Dogs and the Giants, 7th and 8th respectively. 6-5 for the Dockers, but outside of the top 8 on percentage. And then it's Essendon, who have got that game in hand as well. So only 10 games played for the Bombers, 6-4. Big win for Nam today to stay in the fight. Their last 2 weeks have been really important. They were 3-6 and looked in real strife. But now they have won, if my memory serves me correctly, 5 of their last 6.
Yep.
5 of their last 6, the Demons, to be 5 wins, 6 losses, and only 1 win outside the top 8. Mind you, their percentage is poor.
Yep.
But that's a storyline that will continue. And the last of those hoping to keep their nose above the waterline in the race for the 8. Do we put it in that category? There's 4 of them there. Blues, Swans, Saints, Port, all with 4 wins.
You just about write them off, I reckon.
Yeah. Of course, mathematically they can make it, but in the scheme of things, they are nostrils just above the waterline, and then the others, well, they've got their own tasks ahead for the year. Tigers 3 wins, North 2.5, and the Eagles getting their first win of the season last week against the Saints. So that's the way that the competition looks after 11 rounds.
It's going to be interesting for Maisie's Blues, because they've got 4 weeks ahead of them that they really should go 4-0. If they're half the team anyone thinks they are, they should be 4-0, which will put them at 7-6, 7-4, 7-7 actually, the way they unfold. So, and then you start to think, oh, hang on a second, you Blues supporters, Maisie, you'll be starting to think, oh, hang on a second, can we do it?
Luckily, I don't think they're that team.
And that's the challenge for the Demons as well, to be able to continue this. They've had relatively soft kills. If we look at Sydney, Richmond, West Coast in the last month, the win against Brisbane was huge last week and gave them great confidence. They've clearly exuded a fair bit of that today at the MCG against Sydney. So that's a positive, but they'll be coming up against some quality too shortly.
It's really interesting. Have you got... Let's give you a 1 vulnerable and a 1 likely to charge.
I like that. Vulnerable in the 8?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, people were sort of reserving the Suns a bit, but they just keep banking these
There's
wins.
nothing vulnerable about the Suns at the moment.
I mean, I look
How
back.
the Hawks go?
I look back to that season where Gary Ablett Jr. did his shoulder against Collingwood, and it was the similar type of win-loss record when they fell in a hole. But I think it's a very different proposition now.
I'll give you two. Hawthorn and the Giants are my two vulnerables.
You reckon the Hawks are vulnerable?
Oh, yeah,
I
at
reckon
the
the
moment they
Hawks
are.
are.
Yeah, the next
Not
3
playing
weeks
good
they've got some serious fixturing too. If I remember correctly, I'll check that out for you. I reckon they are absolutely vulnerable. They're nowhere near the team that were playing football last year. They've got Collingwood this week, the Bulldogs here, and then they go down and take on Adelaide and Tassie.
3 big weeks.
So they're 3 really big weeks.
Coming off Brisbane.
Yep.
So are the D's they seem the most likely? I mean, their form of the last
weeks ago
was it 5 out of 6 they've won though.
Yeah, I know, but beating Brisbane and beating Sydney, I think that sort of gives them a bit more credibility. Especially, you can say, beating Sydney, they're not in Sydney, but they flogged them. It was 10 goals.
So it's Kilda next week for them. So it's another good look, and then it becomes a bit more of a challenge.
Then the test.
It's the Magpies' birthday. Good luck. Well, they'll know either way, and then they travel Adelaide, take on Port, and then it's the Gold Coast up at Carrara.
It's
and then back in Adelaide.
It's been an interesting narrative so far, and we've got a text here. What is happening to that missing game? Well, of course, the AFL is desperately hoping that something works out that the last game doesn't decide the 8, because the Gold Coast Essendon game, Bombers fans will be hopeful that they're still in the fight. Who knows? They might be playing for seeding inside the 8 by that stage. But
it'll be 2 Thursdays.
It could be Essendon playing for a spot in the 8. They're just outside.
So they'll play on the Thursday before the last round, and then that'll be the last round, and then before the bye, they'll play on the Thursday again.
So the 2 fixtures that we expect to be Thursday, Friday are Port versus Gold Coast and Carlton versus Essendon. That means that both Essendon and Gold Coast would have played at the start of the final round.
Yep.
And
they'll play Thursday and the Friday night.
And then they could either play Wednesday or Thursday in the off week.
And still get a week and a half off before their first final.
We'll just get back to the rooms, and Lexia's gone to just check out things in the Saints' rooms after, they seemed to have their chances, didn't they, Lex, in that third term? Just couldn't really make the most of it. How's the mood down there?
Well, at the moment, so let me set the scene, right? So they've, as you said, they've missed their chances in the third quarter. They came into the rooms for a very, very brief moment and then went straight into a meeting. So as we know, Ross Lyon probably had a bit to say and he didn't want to hold it in. So I'd imagine that knowing Ross, he's got them straight into a meeting and they've gone and discussed what could have been. And there's a fair few family and friends waiting for some of the players to make their way out now. It's a little bit quieter than the Suns' rooms, and usually the losing team is quite loud, but I reckon this family and friends group knows that something went amiss here.
And a part of this as well, now I haven't seen the interview, but just chasing up a little bit here. So Ross Lyon did a pre-game interview with Sarah Jones from Fox Footy, where he called the Gold Coast Suns the AFL Nepo baby, which some of us may have a chuckle about. Some may just see it as in spirit, but I doubt Head House is going to look at that kindly.
I can't see it could.
And I wonder what type of territory are we entering here?
Well, so as someone who's gone to Ross Lyon press conferences quite frequently lately, and we know he likes to add something that's a little different. Recently he was asked about Tom de Koning possibly joining the Saints or whether that was still alive, and he decided to walk out of his press conference. Now, we love theatre in the game, and we love when players and coaches make comments like that. But this may come back to bite him, and as you guys said during the call, it'll probably make a few of the footy shows tomorrow night, as most things that are a bit left of field do. I would like to hear him explain that a little bit better, though.
He'll no doubt get asked about it at the post-game press conference, which I wonder it'll probably be just beyond our broadcast time. So for those that needed a bit more explanation of the term, it's basically where a a sibling has been given preferential treatment and advanced in a
the favourite kids
in a way which is of disadvantage. I think that of disadvantage to the others, and basically about the way that the AFL has set things up there. Now, is that a spotlight on the way that the Suns have been built, or is it a spotlight on the fact that the Saints don't get any favours, Berkey? This is what Ross does to us.
Yeah, it's a narrative that's been going on for a couple of years now, since the President made a statement probably 18 months ago now, and Ross brought it up probably at the start of the season by saying, who won the grand final last year? Well, Brisbane did. Who got the best player in the land? Handed to them, father and son. Brisbane did. So we don't have any of that, and you get academies and this and that. So they were been crying poor in that area for quite some time. So it probably went off the radar a little bit, and he thought he'd bring it back on.
How many times can you keep mentioning it, Berkey? Because, it is a theme.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. That they're not happy that nothing's been done. They're absolutely rife that they. Ross is sitting down on his little chair here.
It's uncomfortable.
I wonder what the first one question is.
Yeah, we don't have the audio,
but look, they've been banging on about it for quite some time. Internally, they think it is a big issue in the fairness of the competition, and unfortunately, they've got to keep it on the front foot until something gets done about it.
We'll get to work on ensuring we can pick up what he says in the press conference, which is just starting. So in the interim, let's just give you the reaction from the MCG earlier today. As mentioned, the Demons are right back in the fight. 53-point victors over Sydney earlier today. Nam, 19 goals, 17, 131. Beating the Swans 12-6-78. And Jake Melksham has found a purple patch of form, the veteran Demons forward, and he chatted with our own Lauren Borden after the win.
Yeah, it was a good win. It was nice to, play full 4 quarters again like last week, but actually put a side away, and I'm sure that'll help a little bit of percentage because the start of the year didn't help too much.
It was a little bit different to last week. I guess that was a bit of a grind to keep coming back when Brisbane came at you, whereas today, did you ever feel like there was a moment when Sydney got on top of you? It didn't look like it from afar.
No, I don't think it felt that they got on top of us at all, but the scoreline for the first half was just lingering a little bit. I think we wasted some opportunities in the forward half, and that was mainly through me. It was nice to just play 4 quarters. We got our identity going. We played in our forward half. We kept them to a really low score as well, which I think we hit our KPI there internally. Just a good win.
The final score was 19-17. You brought it up there. You'd never be a Melbourne player being asked about the goal kicking in the forward line. But it must be good at least to see there are a lot of marks inside 50 and some good entry as well. So you were getting the ball in there in a nice way.
Yeah, we've been working super hard on that for probably 3 or 4 years, and no different this summer and since the season started. So we're getting reward for our effort. We're really honing in on that at training and trying to get different looks. It's not always the same, and if it's not a perfect kick or kick to advantage, then we just got to compete and get it on the ground and bring our smalls into it.
Well, the last quarter went 40 minutes. I'll quickly throw it upstairs to see if Adam Ramanauskas or Bob Murphy have a question or two for you.
Jake, Bob Murphy here. Congratulations on the win and your own performance, mate. I just want to take you back 5 weeks because what you've been able to do as a footy club is quite inspiring in that time. The whole footy world, the whole community, everyone was sort of kicking you guys about where things were at. How have you managed to turn it around and play with such heart and adventure?
Well, they've been kicking us for about 5 years, Bob, not just the first 5 weeks. So it's noise. We always have noise, good or bad. But I think it's just, sticking to our guns. Goody was very strong on the way that we wanted to play, and it probably took 5-6 weeks to adapt to some new game style that we've got. The game's so fast these days, and that's how we're trying to play it. You look at Brisbane's, Collingwood, these types of teams, there's speed on the ball all the time, and that's what we've started to do. We're a long down the line team in the past and, kick to max, kick to contest, but we've started to implement some other things, and that's starting to come out. And as I mentioned before, the entries in the forward line and the opportunities that we're creating.
Jake, as we let you go, Cozzy Pickett in the jumper in which his dad designed, did you sense there was going to be something special for him in this afternoon?
Yeah, I said to him after the game, every time we play Indigenous round, he kicks about 5 or 6 goals. He did in Alice the other year. He's just an absolute live wire, and I think he had 8 shots till 3/4 time. and a couple on the full. So he's finished with 5 or 6, and he's unbelievable. He's a machine.
Jake Melksham in the rooms there. So it's been a good couple of days for the Indigenous players at the G, playing in jumpers designed by their family. So Cozzy Pickett with 5 today in the jumper designed by his family. Cal Archie kicked 4 in the jumper designed by his family yesterday in the Lions win over the Hawks. And today, Nasai Wanganeen-Millera, who designed the jumper for Yoroke, kicked a brilliant running goal here as well. So among the highlights of the now concluded Sir Doug Nicholls rounds, D's by 53 points over the Swans, the Crows by 66 over the Eagles earlier today. Now, other bits and pieces from the weekend as far as news is concerned. Dockers skipper Alex Pearce receiving a 3-match suspension for the collision with Darcy Byrne-Jones of the Power last night. It was graded careless, severe and high. So obviously they can fight that, but the match review has seen that as a 3-match suspension for Alex Pearce. We wait to see what the Dockers do there. Jai Newcomb's been fined but won't be suspended for his dump tackle on Jared Berry yesterday in the Hawks' loss to the Lions.
$10K that.
Sorry?
$10,000 fine, and he can take it.
He must have
6.5 with an early. Yeah, 4 priors.
For the same thing?
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's the 5th time you get a $10K fine.
It's probably worth sitting out for a week if you get...
Yeah. So, something to do... There was a clause I'd never heard of. It was the 5th time you get done for rough conduct is a $10K fine. There you go.
I'll have a week off.
See you in Bali.
Yeah. We haven't done the votes of this one, by the way. Suns winning by 19 points. Here's a couple of numbers before we get the votes from Dan and Berkey. So for the winners, the Suns, another big tally for Noah Anderson, the skipper today. 11 clearances, 36 disposals, 14 of them contested possessions, 6 score involvements, 7 inside 50s, 36 for Noah Anderson. He just ticks a lot of columns.
He might sneak in. He might sneak in.
Tuke Miller, who we spoke to, he had 30 possessions, 27 for John Noble, 27 for Joel Jeffrey in the back line. That's a good return for Jeffrey. Matt Rao with 24 possessions. They're the top 5 for the Victors. Wanganeen-Millera did lead all comers for the Saints as well, not only kicking that goal, but he had 36 disposals, 33 for Steele, 29 for Sinclair. A couple of the old reliables there. Owens with 25 and Filippo 23. So overall, St Kilda did have more of the ball. They had 28 more possessions at 391 to 363. Clearances, Suns +2. Centre bounce clearances, Suns +6, and a lot of those were in the last quarter when the Saints were coming, Berkey, in that third term. Basically, the Suns, I think they won the first either 4 or 5 centre bounce clearances in the fourth quarter.
Michael
shut them out.
Bit of a rocket at 3/4 time. So, hey, you boys need a lift, and they certainly did.
Yep. Inside 50s overall were +12 to the Suns, and I'm just having a quick look through the metres gained. We're getting a few more close to the 1K club. No one's near the 1K club today in metres gained. Well, I'm just looking at that stat. I better give you who had the best for the day. Jack Sinclair, 570. Oh no, Wanganeen-Millera, 836.
By a mile, he was the best.
Malcolm Rosas had -5. The Suns.
He did flip someone off his back.
Because he did go backwards when he got that position. He went backwards.
That
makes sense.
He had two kicks for -5 metres not gained. See, the mathematicians will say metres gained is -5. So, but he would have 5 metres not gained.
Does anyone here?
I'm no good at maths.
In that stat, Daniel, when you were coaching, would you pull out who had metres gained?
No.
Almost as useless as hit-outs.
Okay.
It is. I must admit, I'm coming around to a bit more the way the game is played now, and those players that can advance the game and put a bit of pressure on the opposition, but they've got to be able to use the ball. So there's no point.
You can kick the ball 50 metres,
banging it out of full back
team every
15 times.
Yeah, every time you get it, and you've we've got good metres gained, you can get a hit out and hit it straight to the other team, and got a hit out.
Got a hit out.
Who got your votes?
That's what they do. They run around and go, I got a hit out.
Who's on votes, Berkey?
Not very smart. I got it.
Berkey.
You've got it?
You always the votes, me.
Yep. All right.
Play 300, you get the votes.
I've given one to Joel Jeffrey. I thought his work on the back line, 27 touches, pushed down there and got a goal late in the game. I played with his dad.
Did you?
At St Kilda. Yeah, his dad, Russell, very fine player.
Member of the NT team of the century.
Yes.
Russell Jeffrey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very fine man, very fine footballer. Ahead of his time, played like his son, actually. No one played like his son did back then, but he did. Wanganeen Malera for 2, easily. And another bloke, I played with his dad, Noah Anderson. Give him 3.
So the Nepo baby is
Real
not
Nepo
just
baby.
I've got
Real Nepo stuff.
I'm glad you pointed out the Nepo there. I've got I got the father and sons in for 3 and 1.
Very strong theme. Well done.
So Noah Anderson.
Yep.
The 3, Wanganeen Miller are the 2.
Trying to find a link there, but I didn't play with his dad.
And Joel Jeffrey.
Yep, played with his dad.
The 1.
You would have played against.
Here's a thought on the text from Joe, who asks, flipping across to the MCG, I believe the Swans need to bottom out. They have finals fatigue. Thoughts?
They've got too many key players out. You can't have stars out of your team. 1 or 2 you can get away with, but they've got 6 stars of their team that haven't played all year. I think it's a bit of a mulligan for the Swans at this stage. Dean Cox will be sitting there going, bloody hell, of all the times to walk into this joint.
They're deceptively young too. Like, they've got a lot of youth in that team.
Yeah, well, on the back of opportunity through some of the key players missing. I reckon it's really a mulligan year. Sadly, for Sydney and for their fans, clearly, it's almost a mulligan year the way that they've had to assemble this team.
So I think part of the question for Swans fans is we have been used to the big dog coming to town. It started with Lockett, it continued with Hall, it went to Franklin, and now the question is, McDonald and Amati, among others, the answer for the Swans going forward inside their attacking 50?
No, their forward line needs some work.
You wouldn't be surprised if suddenly Tom de Koning pops out of the thing and says, I'm going to Sydney next year. It's the sort of thing that they come up with. But
I somewhat agree with Joe, though, the finals fatigue thing. They were due for, if they were ever to sort of have a dip, they have been such a consistent football club. You think of them and the Cats as the last 20 years, the most consistent
And the coach probably felt that, which gave him fatigue.
Yeah.
Fatigue had just spread through the place like a real cancer. So if the coach has got it, everyone else feels it. And it's hard to get rid of.
So you go through it. Now, whatever you think of Joel Amati, he's in their best 22 forward, so he's suspended. Cunningham out. Robbie Fox, who I would play. Errol Goulden's obviously out. Logan McDonald would play every week. Justin McInerney would play every week. Suspended. Lewis Melican suspended. Tom Papley out for another 4 to 6 weeks. So there's half a dozen before you even start.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck in this era of footy.
So that adds to not so much the mystery, but it seems that the only truth in football is winning and losing.
Yep.
But among the conversation, there are certainly those that want to talk about the reasons for Sydney not performing as well this year, outside of the fact that they've been a footy club up for a long time. And when you get a guy as successful as John Longmire leaving the place and the handover, that perhaps there's just a little bit of time for the bounce.
Yeah, there's always nuance that you have to apply to those conversations. It's not just, and Berkey knows this better than anyone through his time in footy, it's not just wins and losses. It's never that clear cut. It's just not. Now, the decisions are made on the back of that, either way, for good or bad or indifferent, but it's never that clear cut.
To me, Port Adelaide are very similar. You could use exactly the same excuse. They've been up for a long time, haven't quite reached the heights of what Sydney have, but they've got some key players out of their side as well, and they're going to go down reset.
Just before I go to the fixture for next week, what's Berkey, Dan, what's the most significant result of the weekend in your? What's the headliner?
Good question.
Who's either grabbed our attention in a positive or negative way?
I think Melbourne winning by so much keeps alive the ones outside the 8.
I'm interested in Half's call about your Hawks.
Yeah, well, I was going to say Brisbane in terms of their belief to be able to manage the.
I mean, Brisbane were good yesterday, but
mid-season slump.
You're concerned about the Hawks?
Oh yeah, they're a long way off from what they were. Everyone was expecting top 4 was just a walk-in for Hawthorn, and they have been nowhere near it. And it's for some people it's as easy as Will Day, but that's not the story. Their forward line's nowhere near as potent as it was. Their defensive system's breaking down. The introduction of Barras and Battle has thrown Sicily. He's been off his tucker for a month now. Nothing's quite working there at Hawthorn at the moment.
What about us, Maisie? We can just not that it's. We're going to talk from the heart here. Surely, I mean, everyone's just got to realise that the Blues aren't up to it. Yesterday showed it, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, let's write them off and see if we can put the reverse moz on them.
I know what you're doing. Smart play from you.
Oh.
Well, when you've only beaten Geelong,
exactly,
I don't think you can really have any serious claims to be a good footy team.
But you always beat Geelong. So that's not hard for you.
No.
A couple of minutes before we wrap it up, round 12 begins at the Gabba, Brisbane hosting Essendon. So that'll be interesting to see how the Bombers go with a trip away playing the reigning premiers, and they got their mojo back yesterday, the Lions, big time. Friday night, Collingwood, Hawthorn. That's the question half about the Hawks.
Well, they'll know more. Mm-hmm. We'll know more, I think, after Friday night.
They'll get plenty back too, the Pies.
I'll be tipping Collingwood. I'll give you the tip.
Gold Coast finally get back to Carrara on Saturday. They play the Dockers in the afternoon time slot. Twilight at the Showground in Sydney is Giants Tigers. That's just the Orange have just got to get that one done if they're to stay in that bottom portion of the 8. And then the Swans at home to the Crows. Real watch on the Crows there. Sydney back at the SCG. And then Sunday, D's v Saints. Almost the last chance so long for
Alice.
For the Saints, and that one's in Alice. And then the Eagles host the Cats, and we start to get to the bye round. So Carlton, North Melbourne, Port Adelaide and the Bulldogs have got the week off. Thanks for your company, gentlemen. Thank you, Maisie.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too, Daniel.
Good
nice to work with you.
Travel
a pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed the weekend.
Berkey, always good to see you.
Hopefully you can take some of this good weather back up there with you.
I thought I brought the cool, clear weather down to Melbourne with me. It's been a beautiful
we'll give it
weekend.
to you.
Yeah. Thanks to Alexia Pesha. Great to work with you for the first time.
Thanks for having me.
Stewie on the faders.
Did you punch on with Ross?
Spiggy.
No, I avoided him. I'll see him this week. I'll say, hey, remember how we win games, Ross?
Hey, come on.
First question.
Come on, you two.
I love this from you.
I've got to throw to the highlights before we can knock off for the weekend. Thanks for your company on this round 11. I'll chat to you to start it all again on Thursday from the Gabba. Snap across the face of goal from Ainsworth. Pitches in the opposite pocket. Flanders is there. Hand passes to Closey. Snaps a goal from 25 metres out in the left forward pocket. And the Suns get the first on a Sam Closey right foot snap.
Further out wide, Fiorini inside 50 with the pass mark taken by Long. Lines up, 35 out. He squeezes it home. Suns with the first two.
From behind, Higgins against Andrew. They've both been number one. There's 2 foot difference in height. Keeley, though, with the hand pass, keeps it alive, and it's run into goal by Owens. He kicks the Saints first. Witt's got a kick out of that bounce, and it's gone inside 50. Long reads the drop and takes the mark. No great creativity about that. Just the big man getting it on his boot. He'll kick from about 48. Knows this venue well. He's kicked another against his old team. Ben Long continues his outstanding season. Right on halfway, quick hand pass to the running Wood, chips to half forward, steel marks, hands to Jones, hand pass to the corridor, but Wanganeen Miller up in the jersey he designed. He kicks a brilliant running goal for Euro in the final instalment of Sir Doug Nicholls' round. Oh, that was beautiful stuff. And one for the highlight reel.
How the spoiler. Sharman plays roller. Rover and rolls it through. Couple in a row for the Saints. 2 for Sharman. And the margin back to 10 points.
And off the side of the boot, Noble's kick to attacking 50 falls in the lap of Ben Long. And this for a 23-point lead. Long of just a couple of steps. And he's got it. And that's another for the Suns. It just carries the pack on the goal line. 3 goals for Ben Long against his old mob. Boxall, who has it, is harassed, taps it to the advantage of Jones, runs to 50. Jones kicks it to Sharman in the pocket, and Sharman takes the mark. Tough angle, 25 from goal. 2 goals, 3 for Cooper Sharman, opening up for the left foot snap. He's got it! Cooper Sharman's 3rd goal.
Courage here required from Flanders. Turn tackler, knocked it out of Wilkie's hands. Hand pass to Miller, inside, and now King has it. In he comes, and he squeezes it home. Flirted with that left post again. But it is straight enough, and good enough.
We are basically expired of time, and Gold Coast will take another step forward in this 2025 campaign, which many north of the Tweed hope will be a landmark trip to September. The Suns have beaten the Saints It doesn't happen often here at Docklands. It's the first time in a decade that they've done it. Gold Coast by 19 points.
On your radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and on the ABC Listen app.